Liwaya kala ezalaki eloko ya mawa lelo ekomaliseki esika ya rendez-vous esika mabale esalamaka esika ya matoni Niasha balinga moto ndenge nini papa Namoto, nakoma moyena bengo papa na to chéri, nakoragate, nakoma kobenga yo yaja.
Our organizers still remain Forum Civ in partnership with Bills. Not forgetting Power 254. We have our very good friends. We love them all. We love you. Wala mefika mapema, asanteni sana, jipigieni makofi tafadhali. Clap for yourself.
Clap for yourself.
Clap for yourself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm on stage here with Willie Oeba.
Yes.
The one and only.
The one and only.
The one and only
yeah.
poet that is also sustainable in maintaining and pushing for social accountability.
Thank you so much.
Social change.
Social change.
Just before we engage in this, I just want a very short piece.
A very short piece.
That is going to ignite. Tulimaliza na power.
Tulimaliza na punch.
So we want to start with the same punch.
Yeah.
Yani day one, we are accelerating.
Tunaenda tukipanda.
Tunamaliza huko tuna bust. So I want that energy this morning.
Yeah.
So Willie Oeba, ladies and gentlemen, atupatia piece moja safi sana, alafu tuendelee na mazungumzo kidogo.
Tupige story.
Willie Oeba?
Life ni combination ya failure na success. Vitu most zilikosa meaning, squeeze mi ujiimpress, ndo ni smile ama na smile kujiimpress. Na dream haiku itaji do kujiexpress kama ni capital nilitaji at the beginning of the sentence. Mama we made it. Akani show. Akili sio syllable sana, usistress. Usidigress kuwa mdiverse. Wape hata chorus wakidai verse. It's all about the standards wakidai class. You still call the shots, hawawezi divert. They accuse you of greatness. Sijui ni kuite battery. You're guilty as charged. Hawezi die but. Now that you have wings to fly, speak plain English. You wanna cheat on success, then kiss me, I'm Irish. Nasema fly, ego fly. Hata makanjo mtaani wanajua no hawking. Hip hop kwa biti ya chakacha na mafano na dai. Oeba you're still rocking. Tuna pop out design ya popcorn, hata Vatican inajua apart from John Paul, someone else is popping.
Whoa, we give it thumbs, man.
Yeah.
Sasa bro, wajua kuna watu wameflow.
Watu wameflow. Wamefloat.
Wameflow na wewe ndio, lakini wamefloat. Kuna ndugu zangu kule pwani wanafollow sahi.
Oh, nice.
Hapo wani kwenye mistari umewapiga vako. Yani wameelewa mistari ni ushairi umefanya lakini hawajaelewa. So I want you to unpack the message.
Yeah.
Unasema pale ufanya mtihani.
Yeah.
Kuna swali wale linakuja baada ya ushairi. Tafadhali eleza kwa lugha ya nadhari.
Muktadha wa dondoo.
Kwa lugha nyepesi. Hii mistari.
Yeah.
What message are you passing from that piece?
So hii mistari iko na stylistic devices kibao. Majorly I use metaphor. Kufanya ikue edutainment. So they say people like the truth. Watu wanapenda ukweli. But you have to be funny. If you're not funny enough, they will kill you. Because truth hurts before it heals. So kwanza inaanza. So ukweli, because spoken word is the art of what you say, but most importantly, how you say it. Because people not only focus on what you say, but what you mean.
Yes.
Yes. So to unpack, like there's a piece I said, the sitting president is now sleeping. He's sipping. You get? So you cannot go all over saying the
Buddha, kwa lugha ya nadhari. He's not sleeping, he's sipping.
Yeah. The sitting president is sleeping. Is sipping. Yeah. So, iyo inasaidia with lyricism. People it might take time, but inasaidia so that your message is not bare. Pia kuna hiyo ndio watu wakupe masikio, so that you don't sound preachy. Lazima we employ your bambe kidogo.
What do you think would be the feeling if ingekuwa to open to hivi yani? You would have gone directly.
Direct. Live and direct.
Live and direct. That statement.
Yeah.
Sitting president
is drunk.
Is now sleeping.
Yeah.
He's sipping.
Yeah. Ingeleta mambo.
Huo ndo uhuru wa ushairi. Freedom in art. There are things.
Kuna ile ingine tunasema, dear Mr. President, tumepata rais, lakini sisi hatuna uhuru. Hiyo ni uhuru wa mshairi.
Tuko na lakini
uhuru.
My brother. God bless you.
God bless you too.
I wish wale makarao wangelikuwa wanaelewa.
Kuna wajanja wanaelewa. Juzi nikitoka Mtasis. Nakuru. Proud Nax vegan. Najua wako locked.
Make some noise from Nakuru.
Nilikutana na makarao. I had shorts, dreadlock na nini. Akasema huyu ndio ule wa Dear Mr. President. Walikuwa wanasema Ras, nini iko kwa hiyo bag? Mwingine akamwambia huyu ni msanii anafanya piece fulani inaitwa Dear Mr. President. So wanaelewa. But let me tell you one thing, Oyeba. Yeah.
The only thing that keeps you alive is one.
Yeah.
You know, there are people who are on duty simply because they're on duty, they want to earn a living.
Yeah.
And this is shout out to all police officers. But whatever message you are passing in our goose, ile blow, chini belt,
kabisa.
Wanaifeel. They wish, wangasema keep on saying, bring another one. Let's ingine.
Kabisa.
You are talking on our behalf.
Because that day, I was talking to them policemen. I was telling them, there are pieces, there is a piece I did in Eto Usalama.
Yes.
I was talking about, imagine one day without having policemen kwa traffic.
Wow.
Maybe ungefika hapa, you get?
It's true.
One day kama police wagome, itakuwa chaos.
Chaos.
So we have very good people hata kwa service. We have another guy anakuanga kwa Twitter. He's a police guy from Nakuru.
Yes.
So we have good people. And they don't have people wenye wanaongelea democracy. Hakuna democracy. You get? So I was telling them, we are helping you guys to amplify the voices here. So support wasanii, because ukileta image mbaya, people project that other than ile mzuri. Watu wataona police wanaua vijana, wataona kuna mwingine amesimama kwa jua na control traffic. So we have good policemen, ni vile wale wabaya wanachafua ijina ya wale wazuri pia. Yeah.
Do you know, out of your piece, Mr. President, out of now you have 50 what million? Around
54.
Na wengine wamezaliwa leo. Wakenya tuko na bidii kweli kweli. Jipigieni makofi hata wale wako live. Hey!
Hapo ndo watu wanajipigia makofi.
My friend,
hata
licha ya kwamba tuko na matatizo.
True.
We are in poverty.
We
are surviving under $1.
But
still, we are producing
$1 a day. Say dollar ni 100 bob.
I'm telling you, out of 53 million Kenyans.
Wote
walikuwa na furaha na ile pisi yako.
Thank you.
Except only 3 individuals. And kwa leo tutawamention. Tutaambia waache tu impunity. Ama sivyo?
Kabisa.
Oyeba.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Now there is a statement in your piece you just performed this morning. That talked about you have the wings
to fly. Now speak plain English.
Yes.
Hiyo inaitwa punchline.
Kwa lugha nadhari.
And
who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the artist now. Hiyo piece niliandika nikiwa specific.
Do we have artists in this house this morning? Ama hawa ni wale mafans wa artists wamerauka. Do we have artists?
Luo boy is in the building.
Please raise your hand if you're an artist. You believe you're an artist. Raise up your hand. Only 2, 3. Mbona hujiamini bro?
But you know Songora,
yes.
I think everyone is an artist. Ni vile huwa tunai-express different. Because everyone is a work of art. Sindio? Ni vile wase huwa wanai-express different.
Enlighten us this morning, yes.
Like the way you talk, the way you eat, the way you converse. Hiyo ni art. God ndio craftsman.
So everyone is an artist.
Yeah, everyone is an artist.
Please clap for yourself. But again, we have artists and we have artifice.
True. And ni intentional now.
All artifice are artists, but not all artists are artifice.
Pigieni Songora makofi. Hey, hiyo ni point.
Niko sawa buda.
Uko sawa? Kwa lugha ya nadhari.
Kwa lugha ya nadhari.
Break it down. So
nasema hivi.
Yeah.
Sio wakereketwa wote wanaotumia sanaa ni wasanii, lakini sio wasanii wote ni wakereketwa usanii.
True. So activism inafaa ikuwe very intentional.
Kabisa.
You want to pass a message, na unafaa upass hivi na uko na objective na goals.
You have a target.
You have a target.
And you have expected results.
Sani kama shotgun.
Like when you're doing your piece, Mr. President.
Yeah.
I know you had an objective.
Yeah.
There's something you wanted to happen in this country.
True.
Hata kama hakutakuwa na mabadiliko.
Yeah.
Katika leadership.
Yeah.
There was an intention you wanted.
There's a conversation you want to spark.
And from a layman's Songora, sitting from where I was,
yeah,
watching the video,
yeah,
ulipo-release ukarambia Songora vitu kimetoka moto. I think I was among the first viewers.
Yeah, I remember that day.
Yes, I was
True.
among the first viewers.
Kabisa.
So nilipoangalia ile piece, I was burning. But again, I wanted to erupt. So now is this a time for us to go out? Revolution is real.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
So one thing that I saw, one of your intentions was, you wanted Kenyans to start a conversation.
Exactly.
And it picked very well.
True.
There are some people who are saying, asa huu ataki pija ushairi wake na ka YouTube.
Watu waende kwa street.
Yeah, nafikiri hao jamaa atatoka. Hakuna atakayetoka. But one thing,
True.
You already achieved what you wanted.
Yeah.
A conversation.
Exactly.
Na ilienda karibu wiki mbili.
True. It trended on Twitter at #1 for a whole week.
Wow.
Then the other week.
Wow.
You know, easy V2, like we said yesterday, change ni a process, like what the media is doing.
Yes.
And what we are doing right now,
yeah,
we are setting the agenda,
yes,
the agenda settings. Sindio? So the conversation in a build up very slowly. What was done by Wajinga Nyinyi, what was done by Teardrops as a piece in April Revolution.
Yes,
is a very dope spoken word artist. So we are setting the agenda. Pole pole. We might not see it now, but we will achieve it huko mbele, because we said intention is mind that will change the world.
It's on record.
Because true leadership is in delegation.
Sasa
wezi taka msanii tena and demonstrate.
Ashamaliza
agenda. Yeah.
Songora sasa waingie barabara.
True.
Sukume.
Kabisa.
Kila mtu, we do what is called in business.
True.
Wala wameingia kwa class ya business kidogo. Division of labor and
specialization.
Oyeba ni msanii, atunge mistari, amwage mistari. Kuna mwingine ni wa media. You make sure you capture the moment. Kuna wale wanajitanga professional influencers.
Pale Twitter.
Wafanye kazi yao.
True.
Kuna wale wa barabarani. Kina Songora, kina Gambasugu, kina Hussein Khalid, kina Boniface Mwangi, wafanye kazi yao barabarani.
Alafu Songora kuna hii there's a report ilifanywa na Mozilla. Like a week umeongelea hiyo story ya bloggers, yeah?
Yes, yes.
So wakasema 100 accounts in Kenya zilikuwa suspended because walipeana report kwa Twitter. Kenyans wake up at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah? Kuna hashtags za kina Kalonzo, Mudavadi siku hizi anaitwa Masharia. Yeah? People start tweeting at 5 a.m. Wanalipwa thao. And hizo vitu ni powerful because they set the agenda of the day. So Twitter ime notice Wakenya wana manipulate algorithms za Twitter.
Yes.
So they suspended their accounts.
Wow.
You know. And watu wanaweza ona kama social media ina power.
Yes.
But it really does because it really sets the agenda. We have those youths wako around, they have easy accounts. Si lazima ukuwe na followers wengi ndio useti hiyo agenda. So pia kwa my youth, let us not look at hiyo cash yenye inakuja tu hiyo wanaitwa 527. Like angalia kenye una post. Hata kama ni umelipwa na politician, just look at what you're posting. Don't be a fanatic. Sindio? Kama kuna mwingine leo asubuhi kutoka 5 mpaka 7 tagia Kalonzo. Wow. Ikifika 10 amechukua ingine. Unashangaa huyu anasimama wapi?
Walai.
Na unajua yeye anachukua do lakini anapotosha watu. Yeah. Yeah.
Wewe unaongeza impunity, jua impunity. And you are there with your phone. And you are killing Kenya.
And it's very powerful. Social media is very powerful.
God is seeing you. Tell your neighbor, God is seeing you. Tell your neighbor God is seeing
Hata
you.
pale home.
Yes.
God
Nyumbani jirani yako Mungu anakuona. If you are one among those who are propagating violence in this country, pushing agenda, politicians ambao unajua wanatudanganya na manifesto ya urongo, 5 million jobs have never materialized.
Laptop.
In fact, we are losing more millions jobs.
Laptop.
Digital
government ilishindwa na ilishindwa kupeana laptop ikaintroduce CBC.
Hata ECD acha laptop. Hata desk ya kukaa hakuna. Hata zile vitanda za kulala.
Alafu usha notice jina youth inakoga campaign strategy.
Yes. Iyo, vijana, you're on board. Manifesto yangu mimi itakisha vijana wote wamepata kazi. And you are there, they're lying to you. 7
years tax holiday.
My brother, going back, you know kuna ile siku constitution kuwa promulgated.
Yeah. 2010. August 29th.
My brother, where were you?
Hey. Nilikuwa mbali.
Huh?
Nilikuwa mbali. Lakini nilikuwa tu mkubwa hivi.
Buddha, do you know me?
Yeah.
Sitting at my space, I watched. That's the one thing about politics.
Yeah.
Kitu niliwahi kuwatch kuanzia A mpaka Z.
True.
Ni hiyo sherehe.
It was huge.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
Transfer of power. Huh? Transfer of power from central government system.
Yeah.
Mashinani.
True.
Uongozi. Hela. Kazi. Services.
True.
Now, Waheb, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
We were celebrating 10 years as a couple.
11.
Yesterday. Now 11.
Yeah.
Has any of this materialized? You just want to have a candid conversation.
Yeah.
I know they're against.
Yeah.
But again also, kuna zile ambazo ni ndoto. Asija happen, we are still dreaming. So we want to unpack.
Let us unpack.
As a young person,
yeah.
As an activist,
yeah.
You have been this agenda,
yeah.
Pushing, defending,
defending the constitution.
What has materialized?
I can say
promise kwa katiba ni nini imefanyika?
The downside, pia sisi kama citizens, hatusomi katiba.
Wow.
You get? Kuna vitu zinafanyika, they are well stipulated in the constitution, na sisi tuko ignorant.
We just want to ask people in the house here. Hello?
Hello?
How many of us in this building here, we are activists, we are artists, we are among those who are already empowered. Some of us are resource persons, mobilized at the community level. How many of us here have just taken the constitution, kuangalia tu ile cover hivi? Wangapi?
Kuangalia cover?
Kuangalia tu cover yani. Hii ni constitution, hii ni katiba. Wangapi?
Hata kama ni ya simu.
Inua mkono jamani.
Hata kama ni ya simu.
Hata huko kwa screen tuangalia, inua mkono juu. 1 2 3 4 5 7 8 9 10 11 12 13.
Shout out to you hata ule kwa gallery.
Jipigieni makofi hata. Jipigie makofi bana. Now, we want to go ahead.
We want to unpack.
Wangapi kati yetu hapa wamewahi kufungua hiyo kitabu?
Wakaingia pale kwa preamble of the constitution.
Bado ni wengi. Wapigieni makofi tafadhali. Wangapi wamesoma katiba?
Hapo ndio kuna mambo.
Mikono inapungua.
Thank
you brother. Clap for yourself. Kuja. This is amazing. Kuja. Mpigieni makofi, anatembea nayo.
Wow.
Anatembea na katiba Mkenya halisia. Mpigieni makofi jamani tafadhali. Keep on clapping.
Keep on clapping.
Keep on clapping.
Clap for this gentleman. Yeye anatembea na yake.
Anatembea na yake.
You know one amazing thing about this constitution?
Yes.
About power is derived from the people.
All right.
That is the most important.
More fire. Karibu sana kaka. Karibu.
Thank you.
Please, what is your name and where do you come from in this beautiful county 047?
I'm Kennedy.
Aha.
I'm a visitor in this county.
Wow. Watu wa power. Kwa hiyo Nairobi washikangi katiba, watembeani nazo.
But I've been around a bit.
Aha.
Yeah, I come from Busia County.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What I do?
Yes.
You know that question is very difficult for most people. In Kenya, people are defined by what pays taxes.
Aha.
not what enhances humanity.
Another lecture on stage. Umepata mistari. Clap for you, clap for you, clap for him, clap for him. Yes. It is true.
Yeah, so I think we live in a society where you're judged based on, and even it's in law, your value is attached to the taxes that you pay. Not, that's where you find most of these NGOs and volunteers are demonized because they are, most of them, you see like an artist, someone will judge you based on the money that you make, not the message that you convey, not the lives that you impact through the work that you do out of sacrifice, because it's sacrifice. Yeah.
Okay,
so
now
I've done my taxation part. Now I
Yes.
choose to lead.
You are a leader.
Yeah, so I'm involved in youth development, and I have a bias towards the empowerment of young people into political leadership.
Wow. Clap for him, ladies and gentlemen. So now umesoma katiba.
Yes.
Ama unatembea nayo tu?
Nimesoma kiasi,
Okay.
and you see the way, you see most people.
What do you mean by kiasi? Chapter moja, mbili, ama umeperuzi?
No, I may not quote everything.
Aha.
Yeah, but I work with it sometimes for reference purposes.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think I'm among the few guys who are very angry at what is happening. I was once harassed by a policeman nikiwa naendesha gari na nikatoa hongo.
Okay.
Ukatoa hongo.
I've hated myself for that.
Wewe ulipeana hongo.
Do you have a bishop in the house here?
Actually,
You want to do deliverance? Do you have a bishop in the house?
Na unatembea na katiba.
No, you know,
Okay.
I just realized that I'd bribed a policeman.
Jesus Christ.
Kwa sababu nilipewa receipt, nilikuwa natoka Western,
Yeah.
kuja Nairobi.
Yeah.
I was accused of overspeeding.
Okay.
The evidence was never availed. Then I was given a receipt. Unaandikiwa ile police bond.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I came to Nairobi. I was supposed to go attend a court session
Where?
in Molo.
Ooh.
Then after that, I was supposed to be refunded in case because there was no evidence.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a normal statement.
Only to go to court and realize there's no record of
There's no record.
There's no record.
So hiyo receipt iliandikwa na
Receipt ilikuwa bonoko.
Receipt ilikuwa bonoko.
So it's a way of telling you, just bribe me and go.
Yeah.
And go.
So I got a government receipt, but it wasn't legit.
So you do.
I'm interested. What did you do after that?
Did you follow up?
No, I tried following. I went to the police station,
Ulienda kujistaki.
but I think the usual threats too.
Yeah.
So I think I gave up. So
Okay.
I think those are some of the things that ignited what I'm doing today.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I chose a path
Yeah.
where I could use myself as an example to influence.
Okay.
Because sometimes we talk about how most of us have a lot of expectations of others, but not of ourselves. So I decided through that, I have been a bit into the activist world. I did a bit of activism with Amnesty International on the campus days. So I think at the moment, I focus on trying to influence just one person every day. Just
Wow.
one.
Right. Now.
Wow. Clap for him,
please,
ladies and gentlemen.
Please, if you feel you want to appreciate, keep doing
Give
it.
Clap for him. You
All
know.
right. So now, just one question before we wind up this session.
Yeah.
Out of the chapters in the Constitution, the 18 chapters, which is the chapter that is closer to your heart?
Wow.
I think for me, human rights are the most fundamental part of any society. So that's it apart. And one of the reasons why I work with this is so that in case I see an injustice,
Yeah.
I may not remember everything. Nowadays, when I'm stopped by a policeman in a vehicle, you see, at the end of the day, there are rights that are here. So I
Yes.
remind them.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's something to do with the Traffic Act, I have them in the phone.
Okay.
So I try to use, one of the reasons why I work with this, so that the first thing that when I'm stopped with a policeman, he'll see
Unatoa katiba.
ataona katiba.
Okay.
Akishaona katiba, now we converse from there. The first
Okay.
question I ask, what's your name, sir?
Yeah.
You have to tell me your name. Now, if I'm wrong, what is the offense?
True.
Where are you taking me?
Yes.
You know, most Kenyans will tell you that you can't ask a policeman those questions and get away with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the truth is, the society is gradually revolutionary to a point where even those people will look at you and see, you know, sometimes you're judged based on the person you present.
Yes.
So those people will look at you. If I'm starting with a constitution, they'll think I'm a lawyer. I'm not. I'm just a Kenyan who is interested in knowing. Yeah. Because like politicians, you know, I'm an aspirant, but I'm not a politician. Mm-hmm. Most of these people lie to you deliberately because they know that you have refused to know obvious things. Okay. True. You have refused to know your rights. So they'll come and tell you, now I have come to do this because now it's a favor if you don't do this. Yeah. You know, people take advantage of us because of our, I call it choiceful ignorance. True. Yes. Because all the information is here.
It's there.
And everyone, it's free nowadays.
Free.
And I always use this example. Out of 10 young people, look at what, when they're on their phone, look, what are they doing online? What are they using their bundles for?
Double tap.
Because Mimi, I believe there are 3 things you do online.
Yeah.
You either learn, you teach, or you earn.
Hallelujah.
You either learn,
you teach, or
you earn.
If
that
not,
is very powerful.
you're just wasting. You're making money for the people in the US.
So you mean, ukitumia bundles ya 100 bob, you're supposed to make more than that?
Yeah. If you're earning, make at least 10 times that.
It must be worth it.
Yeah.
Hii lesson ya leo, we'll call you the reverend this morning. And he's the bishop. Mimi yule mtu wa sadaka. After this session, I'll be coming around. Tafadhali ka sadaka karibu, because this is inspirational. My brother, I wish there was a session deliberately for youth and constitution. Yeah. So that we can learn how young people, at the time wengine wana agonize kupiga kelele kwa maskani huko, serikali, there are few young people taking advantage of the constitution.
True.
To live straight in the society.
Exactly.
And they're trying to change.
One thing I always ask young people.
We are winding up, brother. I know you are very good. You are very good in speaking.
He said he's a politician.
Allow me to just say one thing.
1 minute.
Yes, not even 1 minute. I always ask young people, like for example, I'm a political aspirant. Yeah. When we queue on the line, mimi niko hapa nyuma, Jimmy Wanjigi ako hapa mbele. Tukienda kwa ballot, we unaangusha 1 bob na Jimmy Wanjigi anaangusha 1 billion, ama kila mtu anaangusha kura moja.
Kura moja.
Mbona umuogope? Why should 70% allow themselves to be governed by 30%? Thank you.
Wow. Asante sana. Mpigieni makofi, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Clap for him. Clap for Willie Oeba.
Thank you so much.
The greatest man.
Asante. And tweet under the hashtag Defending Democracy.
All right.
Shout out to BOB all the way from Mombasa, Mabea. I can see Betty Adera is also tweeting. She was here yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Mpigieni makofi tafadhali. Makofi bwana, makofi bwana, makofi bwana, makofi bwana. Comrade power. Comrade power. Comrade power. Comrade power. Asante. Nataka hii energy iongezeke jamani. Vijana, hii Kenya ita change kama inaitwa change. How sio? Ladies and gentlemen, just about now I want to introduce our first session this morning. This is a very important panel. We are going to be discussing about champions, looking at empowering stories from young change makers. Empowering stories from young change makers. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the moderator for this session, Madam Njoki Gachana from Githurai Social Justice Center. Makofi tafadhali. Strength of a woman. Comrade power. Comrades power. Comrades power. Thank you. Karibu sana. Tafadhali nipe kinyokonyeo. COVID is real. It's not a joke. We cannot share these things, you know, unless there is a sanitizer between us. And I request mvae mask vizuri tafadhali. Wale wamekaa karibu sana, ruka kiti kimoja. Yes, because the cameras are rolling. My brothers there, please try to kiti moja katikati yenu, yani isikuwe na mtu. Unaweza weka handbag, unaweza weka popcorns. And there's one announcement, mentioning of popcorns. Jamani, announcement, jana watu walikuwa hapa, walikuwa wanakula popcorns, wanakula mabuyu. Please, this auditorium is only for water. You can only come in with water. The rest of the items, please, tutakula saya break, na jioni tukibreak. This is a request from the management. My dear one, take it away.
Asante sana. Viva, comrades, viva! Viva, comrades, viva. Leo ni siku ya mayouth. So, that energy is not allowed in this room. I'm going to ask us to stand up. Please stand up. Sisi ndo ma freedom fighters, so we need to look and act like the freedom fighters that we are. Okay? Viva, comrades, viva! Viva, comrades, viva! We will say this 50 times until I get the energy that we want in this room. Viva, comrades, viva! Viva, comrades, viva! More power to the people, more power! More power to the people, more power! More power to the youth, more power! More power to the women, more power! Viva, comrades, viva! Viva, comrades, viva! Down with oppression, down! Down with police brutality, down! Down with impunity, down! Forward with social justice, forward! Forward with human rights, forward! Forward with democracy, forward! Even though to liberate this country. Is that how we plan to liberate this country? Huh? Is that how we plan to liberate this country, with that kind of energy? Do you know the kind of energy the state machinery has, the oppressors have? So tukiwa wanyonge hivi, how are we supposed to march? Huh? How are we supposed to march? I am going to ask Nimtes to come. Haraka haraka. Nataka utuchangamshe.
Viva, comrades, viva! Naitwa Nimrod Elkana from Dandora Community Justice Center. Na manze tuko chini. Vijana, manze tuko chini. So, tutajogi kiasi, si ndio? Na hatuwezi jogi nikiwa peke yangu huku juu na stage ni bigi. So, najua hapa tuko almost na kila msee wa social justice movement, si ndio Njoki?
Wako lakini kwa sababu ya social distance, tutawauliza wajuogi from where they are.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
See, you can lead.
Nimtes, kwa nini tumekuita hapa juu?
Okay. Viva, comrades, viva!
Viva!
More power to the people, more power!
More power!
More power to the people, more power!
More power!
Tekeleza katiba, tekeleza!
Tekeleza!
Forward with democracy, forward!
Forward!
African women on the front line. African youths on the front line. Wanyamaza na siya yao. Wanyamaza nububute. Wanyamaza na siya yao. Wanyamaza nububute. Sinya sizamba le toi toi toi. Wanyamaza ile toi toi toi. Sinya sizamba le toi toi toi.
Nimtes amesema mmemwangusha, so anataka kutoka kwa stage. Atoke kwa stage. Aya, sawa.
Mtu anaweza kama tusaidiane kuimba pia, si ndio?
Si mimi niko hapa Nimtes.
Solo kitu basi Njoki tuele.
Sawa. Niko njaa hata siwezi karanga.
Hohe hae, shagala bagala.
Niko tayari
Kulipa gharama, sitasimama maovu yakitawala. Sitasimama maovu yakitawala.
Niko njaa hata siwezi karanga.
Hohe hae, shagala bagala. Niko tayari kulipa gharama, sitasimama maovu yakitawala. sitasimama maovu yakitawala.
Sawa, nitauliza tuimbe wimbo wa mapambano kabla tuanze.
Kupigwa na kupokonywa maisha
hakutatuzuia sisi wananchi kunyakua uhuru wetu na haki ya jasho letu, na haki ya jasho letu. Tumekataa kupiga magoti mbele ya hawa bila shaka sisi pia ni watu, hali ya utumwa tumeikataa, hali ya utumwa tumeikataa. Tutanyakua mashamba yetu, tupiganie uhuru wetu, tuikomboe elimu yetu, utamaduni na viwanda vyetu, utamaduni na viwanda vyetu. Sisi hatutaki kudhulumiwa, hatutaki tena mauaji, ili kupe tuliangushe, haki na uhuru zichanue, haki na uhuru zichanue, katiba yetu wa Kenya, katiba yetu wa Kenya, tutekeleze uhuru wetu wa Kenya, uhuru wetu wa Kenya, tupiganie vijana wetu wa Kenya, vijana wetu wa Kenya, tuwatetee. Ole yo. Awesome. Asanteni sana. It is really important to start that song because where we are as the youth of this country, we need to remember that if we do not stand up for ourselves, then no one will fight this battle for us. So in this session, we have very many people who are doing great things, organizing in their communities, in their spaces, for social change. And in this terrain, organizing for social change against the oppressors, a really, really hard task. So we want to hear their stories. We want to know, why do they do what they do? Why can't they just find a job? Wache kurisk kufinywa. Waambie serikali wafanyie nini? Iambie serikali wafanyie nini? Iwape kazi. Kwa nini wamekataa kutafuta kazi? Why is it that they wake up every single morning and they dream change and they go out and they seek that change? What inspires them? I am going to start with one gentleman that I know very well. Tumetoka mbali sana na yeye. When we met, we were very young. Now we are not as young as we were. And he comes from Mukuru. Hezbon, I am going to ask that you come to the stage, join us. Hezbon is one of the founders of Mukuru Community Justice Centers. He's also an artist, also a very good football player, by the way. You're a man of many talents. And so I want to, first of all, tell mimi nimeambia the crowd who you are from what I know and how I've met you. But who is Hezbon?
Good morning, everyone. I go by the name Hezbon Bahati, also known as Ezi Cocktail, aka Mshairi na Kitabu, aka Baba Taifa, aka Mloya Butere. And I'm an activist, I'm an artpreneur. I convene an organization called Copsters Entertainment that basically deals with artists, sound management, and also managing artists. I come from Mukuru, Kwanjenga, and I also am a member of the Mukuru Community Justice Center. I'm very much glad to be here. Of course, as Njoki has said, I'm a jack of all trades. I'm a former footballer. I'm a health practitioner. And yeah, I'm an activist.
You're a health practitioner?
Yes.
Hezbon?
Yes.
Okay, that is new. So this week we're trying to look at democracy and how far we've come, with democracy. On the 15th, we'll be celebrating the Democracy Day. And this is a very close topic to you, because as an activist, democracy is very important to you, I believe. But before we go to what democracy means to you, can you tell us what you do in Mukuru?
As from the introduction, I'm an artist. Majorly, 90% of my craft is art for social change. So I'm a lyricist, I'm a performer, and also a writer. So most of the things that I do are majorly connected to art. But then also, for an artist or an activist to be effective on the ground, he or she must be an organizer. So I'm also a community organizer. And as I've mentioned, I'm a member of the Mukuru Community Justice Center, where we deal with all sorts of injustices. Name them: police brutality, extrajudicial killings, issues around land grabbing, education, the all sorts of things that happen probably negatively within our community. And it is very fortunate for me to be sitting here and speaking about myself, because for the longest time, we've known each other when we were still young in terms of activism and trying to understand the role of a citizen and what you're supposed to do within the setup that you are in your community. Then we realized that there's so many things that happen and so many people don't talk about. So we chose that path to be the voice of the voiceless. Currently, I've been able to convene 30 youths for the past 1 year during the pandemic, in partnership with Power 254 and Forum Civ, of course. We were able to train 10 citizen journalists who are documenting cases within our areas and also documenting successful stories that happen within our area. We have 10 public litigators. These PL were in Power 254, and they are using skill to address issues that affect them directly or indirectly. So for example, we are having a case at Wape Market that is a public land that was surrendered by the millers. But unfortunately, some developers came and grabbed the land. So we are using the PIL team to agitate and advocate for reclamation of Wape space. The other year, we were able to reclaim a public space that was Goodrich School, which a developer had grabbed and privatized it. And we were able to reclaim the space back, and now it is Mukuru Community Center, which is now a public primary school. So you realize that there are so many things that happen, but without talking about them, we just assume and they affect us, you see. We're also using art as a tool to to prevent the manipulation of the Constitution. So we are doing an album, courtesy of Power 254 and Forum Civ, that is called Sauti ya Katiba, and we are using different pieces to speak about how we are supposed to prevent people from manipulating the Constitution, and also understanding the rights that the government has given unto us. Yeah.
That is some great stuff you're doing for your community. But as you kept going on and on and on, the one question that was in my head was, why? Why do you do what you do? Because you sound like you put yourself in a lot of danger, you know, taking head on the oppressors and those people who, you know, abuse the rights of others. Why do you do what you do?
I think from yesterday, we had Willie Oeba performing. And I think it was before, after he performed, he mentioned that he was once arrested because of his dreadlocks. Maybe by that time they were baby locks, sort of. Why was he arrested? Because there is some sort of profiling, youth profiling, that is going around. And it's not only in Nakuru, even in Nairobi, and more so in the slums. So you realize most of the youths who like kind of package themselves in a certain way, for example, like the way I do, I have dreadlocks, you see. Like for the past 1 month, we've lost a number of youths, more than 24 youths, who are being profiled because of the outlook or the kind of things they do. For example, you're an artist, because as an artist, you need to present yourself in a certain way. So the police or the society, they define us for whoever we are not supposed to be. So for me, I was once arrested. That was around 2013. And in 2013, I had put my first dreadlocks. And I was very much intimidated with the police. They took scissors and, you know, they cut my hair. And I was like, my hair is not like related to the crime that apparently I had not committed. It was just, you know, somebody has just said that this guy has done something, you see. So I was forced to cut my dreads off for the first time. Then I came to realize I had the former Chief Justice, Dr. William Tunga, speak about his piercing. And the way he was articulating that issue during the interview, for him to becoming a Chief Justice, it like triggered something in my mind. I was like, oh. So even my look is like the way I choose to be is the way I'm supposed to be, not because you define the way I'm supposed to be. I mean, so his piercing was like, this cannot be an hindrance for me not being a Chief Justice. Am I going to practice law, or am I going to practice my earrings and stuff? So you see, and he mentioned that the way you're dressing, your code of dressing is protected and it is enshrined in the Kenyan Constitution under the Bill of Rights. So I realized that my dress is my choice. So if I want to put dreadlocks, It's my choice. If I want to pierce my ears, my nose, whatever, it's because I choose to be in a certain way. Because we are living in a country where we need to practice our freedom. You know, our forefathers fought for our freedom. Again, we are now struggling to fight for independence again. So for me, I felt like it was some sort of intimidation and manipulation. So I realized that I had not understood my rights. So then I think that's when we met. Then I started like trying to understand what are these human rights, what are these rights that are being enshrined in the Constitution, and how can I practice them. So then I realized I have more power than the police. So you can see, because I'm a proud protege of Giuliani. So for example, when you look at Giuliani, he resembles the Mau Mau, you know. And I was like, if Giuliani sings Utawala and these are the songs and nobody tries to cut his hair off, then why me? So we are on the same level. So that's the thing that pushed me to like start doing this. Then I realized that there are other gaps within the community that we are supposed to be speaking about, yet people don't speak about. So I decided to speak about issues that affect my community. Yeah.
Before we go to the community, there is family. And one of the greatest challenges that activists face comes from home. So how was that for you? Are your parents supportive? Is your family supportive? Or are they always praying for you to change?
So apparently, am I qualified to say I'm an orphan? Yeah, I lost my mom when I was in Form 2. So apparently my mother was not very much associated in, you know. So when I was in high school, I was a member of the Amnesty International club. So I used to speak about things to do with rights, but not in a very informed way. So I would go for debates and I come back with certificates and presents. I was the best debater, etc. And she would congratulate me. So I think from then, the support was there. But the surrounding, the people who are immediate, my grandma, they're never, you know, they're like, you're just a youth, you don't know what you're doing sometimes. And sometimes they're like, wewe unacheza na serikali. You know, hatutaki kukupoteza, understand? Like, the sort of threats that appear on the television, the number of deaths of young people, and even sometimes when you go for demos and people are arrested, when they see news, they're like, I hope my son is not there, you know? So there is some sort of fear because maybe they are old age, perhaps, or it's because they fear I might die early, or maybe, you know. So there is some sort of fear and should I say some old school thinking or something. It's because they feel I'm supposed to be something better for whatever reason they think, but which I appreciate. But then I also tell them that I'm an adult. I understand what I do. I'm fighting for this country. I'm fighting for the betterment of other people within the community. The reason as to why I'm not practicing medicine, perhaps it's because there are no jobs. We have systems. They are not working. We have people we have given power to work for us. We have delegated our duties to people to like show us the way, but they are not doing it. They are doing it for themselves. They are tumbocrats. So for me, I think to some extent and to some reason, I feel like they kind of buy my, you know, my way of thinking and how I do things, because I'm dependent and I do my own things. Yeah.
Awesome. Mukuru Kwanjenga is one of the slums that really face injustices in this country. when we talk about decent housing, people from Mukuru Kwanjenga have no idea what we're talking about. When we're talking about access to healthcare, until recently, people from Mukuru still had no access to healthcare. When you talk about poor drainage, yani, the lives of people from Mukuru Kwanjenga are in a very sorry state. They've been stripped of their dignity. What does this make you feel as a resident of Mukuru Kwanjenga? And what is your dream for Mukuru Kwanjenga?
As obvious, it's never comfortable. When you see people, and I've done a song speaking about how people contract diseases and they cannot access healthcare. For example, cholera. Cholera is one of the greatest and the biggest menace that affects Mukuru because of poor drainage system. It's not because there are no funds, you know, to build drainage and stuff, but mostly, most of the people that we give power, the member of county assembly and the member of parliament, they do things that perhaps pleases them, not what pleases the community or what we discuss during public participation. Because most of the public participation that we attend, majorly they are rubber stamped. We just go there to stamp because things are discussed behind doors. And then when we come to attend the public participation, which apparently public participation is supposed to be happening tomorrow and you get information today at night. So most of the things that happen, they happen either illegally or they are choreographed in a certain way. And that pisses me off, and that's why I'm here. That's why I go to each and every youth, try to educate and liberate them, try to show them this is the right way to go and not this way. The politicians are not supposed to buy us. You see, these are the rights that are enshrined in the Constitution. These are the things that we need to get from this office, not what they are offering. And so we've managed to educate a number of youths who apparently are advocates of different, should I call them services or what? Yeah, kind of services. So, for example, if we are talking about issues around health, we have somebody like MC Skuma who addresses issues directly that affect us through health. So if we're having public participation and we want something to change, so he advocates, he organizes, he calls people and train them on what we are supposed to do, the processes and etc. And if by any chance they fail, we use, we have memorandums, we have petitions that we use to try and advocate. We have other people, for example, in terms of police brutality and abuse, police abuse of power, we use, for example, Ture. Ture is more vast in issues around police accountability. So we use him to help us educate other youths and other community members so that we can have a just community. Yeah, so for me, it's more of organizing and trying to identify people who can help in different segments. Yeah.
You say that you're an artpreneur.
Yes.
Most activists don't have that privilege of having something they do on the side. And more activism is looking like a career where people even get paid to go for protests. People get paid to push certain campaigns. What do you think about this and what it does to the civic space?
I think we are becoming another definition of sellouts. Because if you're paid to do something to change a situation, then you're going against humanity, you're going against your values. Because at the end of the day, it's all about values and the need of the society. So most of the people, apparently I know a number of people who are bought, quote unquote, to tweet about something. For example, you heard Willie Oeba speaking about there are people within the political space who wake up around 3 a.m. and they tweet about something like for 4 hours. So these people are paid per hour. So when you go to the analytics, you think that it is the ordinary Kenyans who are tweeting like they're advocating for something, but apparently they're just puppets who are earning something out of it. I get the essence where Odweo said something about if you're using 100 shillings to, for bundles, make sure that it pays back, like it is a form of a living, sort of. There's so many things that are happening on the social media. For example, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. There are things that happen where you can earn your money, like justly. You know, you get a decent income from whatever you're doing. But apparently, there are a number of us who have been bought to do these things. For me, I call them illegal. And so most of the time you find that they contravene the kind of message that we try to send out there. So for me, I feel it's time for us to understand the fight that we're fighting. Let's get into a war that we have values that lead us towards winning that fight. Unlike we are in a system where we are fighting, but at the same time, we are using the system to earn a living. The reason as to why most of the youths, after every 5 years, we say we are jobless, we say we are hakuna kazi, hakuna maji, hakuna nini. It is because we delegate our duties to people. Then those people, they come with 50 bob, 100 bob. After every 5 years, they buy you, then they go away after 5 years. So for you, you just remain there. You're just there, jobless, helpless, and etc. So for you to participate in a political violence, for you to participate in any like illegal behavior, or maybe something that it cannot add value to you and to your society, it's very easy because you are already manipulated. So for me, I feel people should now start understanding how to package themselves, how to use their skills and talents to earn a living. For those who are educated, man, sorry, because the system is not favorable for us. Until we rise up and change the system, we shall always be saying we are jobless, that there's no employment, there's no what. So it's time for us to start taking these spaces. Yes.
Hezbon, I want to take you back to the dangers of what you do. I think 2 years ago, you lost someone very close to you, a colleague. And the space was shaken. And you did a very powerful piece in her memory. Do you get afraid sometimes? And what did Carol's death do to you?
Well, it's obvious we are human, and we get intimidated at some point. And because we all have dreams, we all have things to achieve at the end of the day. So whenever you see somebody who you're close to dies, not just a normal death, it triggers something to you. Because you can imagine you're doing the same things that she was doing. Then all of a sudden, she's nowhere to be seen. So most of the time, I don't like speaking about the life of Caro, because for me, it affected me. I was not very much closely to her, but the way the police handled her case, it was very tormenting, it was very torturing, and I couldn't even imagine I was doing the same thing she was doing. We were working in the same space. We were both activists. We were both talking about police abuse of power. We were talking about extrajudicial killings. Then all of a sudden, silence. So for me, I'm afraid at some point, not just because Caro died, but when you look at the spaces where we invest a lot of time trying to change the narrative. For example, there was a time we were demonstrating and Boniface Mwangi was shot by a tear gas canister directly on the heart. You know, the other time, Edgar Obare exposed some wash guys. What happened? His Instagram account what happened to his brother? Exactly. So you see, the things that we do, they have some sort of consequences that we don't foresee per se, and we don't even expect, you know, because we are fighting the system, and the system have got machinery that can, within a minute, man, you're gone. But this takes me back to the colonial time when Mau Mau, the kina Dedan Kimathi, they were arrested, they were tortured, everything happened to them, but they never gave up. The police, the system, the government that is serving us, the way it is serving us, they are serving us because there are people who gave out their lives back in the 90s, back in the 1960s, for us to have that freedom. So they are operating on people's freedom. You see, people's blood. There are people who died because of the freedom that we were seeking. So if we can all decide to take risk, then I see it's the right course for us.
Okay, that leads me to the question, what is the state of democracy in our country right
now? We shall achieve democracy if we are all politically educated. Apparently, we can say we are at somewhere because when you can trace history from, was it 1992, when there was the repeal of Section 2A, where we introduced multipartyism. At least for now, people can, you know, engage differently in different parties. Back then, it was only chama ya baba na mama, where it will dictate whatever thing that it was supposed to happen. For example, as we speak right now, if it were those days, even mentioning Caro in this discussion will be a crime. Sahi ungewa na flying squad. You see, like Reke squad, AP, you'll be on the other side of the street. You'll be at Nyayo House right now. But now, we have freedom, at least in as much as the freedom in itself has been infringed, but at least you can speak out. We have the introduction of freedom of media, which social media is playing a very big part. In as much as they are canceling or taking away people's accounts, like Edgar Obare, but imagine the whole society is getting informed because we have social media. So in a nutshell, we have a very larger margin that democracy is playing a very big part. Even when you speak about elections, people wake up very early, they go and vote in as much as kura zetu huwa zicount. So we vote, then they computerize the results. So, but at least we have a system, understand? Then, in relation to election, there was this guy, the IEBC BOG was here, Mike. I wanted to ask him about Musando. But to a larger extent, I felt like it will be more personal, so I just left it. But then, because he was speaking about something to do, I'm not an IT person. So we had an IT person who was Musando, sindio? We had Musando who had come with a system that when you vote, you can use your fingerprint, like to configure results, or you can use fingerprints to vote, for example. But they did away with him. It is known. I don't want to ask for his justice, because even if we start asking for his justice, you can never get it. So we just leave it as it is. So for me, democracy iko kwa mlima. Yeah, we are just on a mountain, we are trying to climb, then we have some, holes and gullies, erosions and whatever. But I think we are going somewhere. Yeah, because for us to have, even congregated here, it means we have freedom of expression, we have things to do. But most importantly, my major aspect of democracy is art space democracy, where I belong like 90%, because most of our crafts, they never get airplay. Why our artists don't get paid using the CMOs, the MCSKs, the PRISC, it is because the art space democracy has been shrinked to a larger extent. If Juliana would be in this meeting today, he would confess that he had to go to exile after he released Utawala. Why? Because you're speaking truth to power. Willie Oeba yesterday said, "Dear President," it was pulled down a number of times. Why? Because you're speaking truth to power. So when you speak truth to power, because that is majorly what we activists do, we speak about issues, we speak about the negative things that happen, majorly. So if you mention somebody in your piece, for example, I've mentioned Governor Waiguru in my piece, my recent piece, and I say, kuwa youth, uibe pesa za NYS, uzeeke, ufanywe governor, ama basi kata slit, ndo upatiwe position. So why hapa lazima ukue guru? So for you to maintain your political power, you need to bow down to people. So it's either for you to be a female leader in Kenya, you need to open up your slit. You know what I mean? So lazima ulale na mtu ndio upatiwe kazi. Unaget? Lazima ukuwe corrupt ndio upatiwe kazi. You see? So when you mention such words in your song, unakujiwa, gun blazing, everybody is here. You see? So for me, I feel, and when I speak about entrepreneurship, you realize that, for example, YouTube pays. So if Willie Oeba's song, Dear President, had 1 million views, he will be paid for that. He has got watch time and subscribers and whatever. He'll get paid. But what happens if his song is pulled down? Yeah, so art space democracy has been shrinked in a way that we cannot fully express ourselves. We cannot perform in different, like in other spaces. Because when you look around, most of the people who perform, including Oeba, Giuliani, Mufasa, Kina Javan, and whoever, most of the times when we perform, we don't get airplay. Have you ever seen Giuliani on 10/10? Why? It is because the media has been commercialized. The people owning the medias, they cannot give us space to perform our pieces that speaks about the people who apparently are their bosses. Yeah, so we need to start thinking about how can we have our own spaces? How can we have Kikao Junction, for example? How can we have big spaces like Power 254, where we can articulate our own issues, where we can perform? We need our own TV channels, we need our own radio channel, stations. For example, you see Ghetto Radio. Ghetto Radio, I think 90% of whatever they play is more of, informative. They inform the society. It is this sauti ya mnyonge, sindio? But majorly, a number of times, these guys get arrested. When you sit down with Garang Zalendo, he'll tell you a number of times he's been on air and there are police officers at the door. So, our space needs to be respected. So for me, I'm trying to push to have more space and have more voices so that we can speak about our stuff. And that's why all of us are here. That's why MC Skuma is here. That's why Msunguch is here. That's why Mombu the poet is here. That's why Karembo is here. And whoever, yeah.
Okay, so before I let you go, you've spoken about so many challenges. So I'm just wondering, what then motivates you in this terrain that sounds so challenging? And also just tell us, successes that at the end of the day, you go back and say, yeah, that happened because of my consistency, because I went out today. So briefly, just as we conclude.
Challenges, I think the things that give me more power to push is the challenges themselves. Because you can never achieve something without challenges. So for me, challenges are more of catalyst to whatever I want to achieve. Because at the end of the day, you need these challenges. Imagine some that no one is speaking about. For example, when you are speaking about reclaiming the school, and nobody is speaking about it, the DC, the police, and any other person. So it's like you are unapuliza gunia, But whenever you're speaking and there is somebody who is responding, now you get another tactic of handling that situation. So for me, it feels a bit challenging, yes, but also motivates me to move to the next level. And that's why we managed to, reclaim that space, because we had some pushing forces that were negatively, and we also had some forces that were pushing positively towards our direction. And so we tried to see how can we bring a level of equilibrium in terms of just understanding the level of engagement. Who are these interested parties? Why are the community interested? And why are these people grabbing the land, you see? Then you realize that the community has got more power in terms of the values, in terms of the interest, in terms of everything that we want to achieve. And so it was easy for us to counter that, you see. So for me, challenges a catalyst. And then successes, we've been able to have a round table with the police within our area, because we had too many cases where people just get arrested without any apparent reason. So then we try to understand why are these things happening. Then you realized that a number of youths don't know their rights. A number of police officers don't know who perhaps within an area, because most of the police officers, they just come from outside and they start operating within our areas and circles. So one of the successes is we had a meeting with police officers, and now the number of police abuse of power and police brutality has gone down a bit. And we've been able also to do albums as artists. We've been able to do 3 albums that speak about issues within our community. We also in partnership with other organizations like Siasa Place that they are giving us information. You know, they are training youth on their rights. They are training youth on issues about public participation, because they are more versed in issues around public participation and how to hold public officers to account. So for me, I think we've achieved a lot, and thanks to each and every organization that have been able to, you know, give us support in whatever we do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Hezbon. We celebrate you. We recognize you for what you're doing in Kuru Kwanjenga, in the activism space. And just before you leave, maybe you can do a short piece for us. And as we give the audience also a chance to interact. So for anyone who has a question, this is the time to put it down. Then we're gonna give you a chance to ask Hezbon a question. I want you to do a piece for us.
Niaje wase tena. Hii engagement imekuwa tight, ndio? But me, as I always say, yani, msanii ni kujituma na msanii ni kujua craft yake. But kwa hii space ya leo, siwezi taka kuperform anything apart from wimbo ya mapambano yenye na to unite. Unajua? The only Kenyan song, the second national anthem ya Kenya, unajua ni gani? Ni Utawala, si ndio? And mimi I'm a proud protege of Juliani. So kama DJ anaweza kuwa na hiyo song ya Utawala, inaweza kuwa nimenibamba sana. Naweza isample tu kidogo verse moja, alafu itakuwa sawa, I think.
Okay, sijui kama DJ ako na hiyo ngoma. But from the audience, do we have anyone who has a question for Hezbon? From the stories that we've heard, I mean, from the way he spoke, you could tell that he does this from a place of passion, that every day anaamka na hakuna mse anamtuma, ni yeye anajituma. So, you know, the encouragement that we've got. Does anyone of us have a question for Hezbon before he leaves? Yes. I see Mwekali here. Someone please hand her the microphone.
Thank you so much, Hezbon, and Comrade also Njoki. Like, you're the most people that also, you inspire me a lot. But my question would be to you, Hezbon. The fact I'm also a feminist, how do we sort of produce conscious content that also talks about our role as artists in the struggle, but at the same time, drawing a line that doesn't objectify women, drawing a line that doesn't look sexist or patriarchal, but at the same time, you spread the message. I would really want to hear from you on that, because it's usually like a problem for me when there are comrades that I really love so much and their content, but there's sometimes their content I'm like, yo, aina tofauti na gengeton. You see? But at least I would love to hear that so that we know from this level is also how as women, even within the movement, we feel that our struggles are being heard within our male comrade, but at the same time we don't feel ni kama tunakuwa abused na ngoma zingine na watu inawabamba. Thanks.
Maybe just to mention, gengeton sio beat, gengeton ni words na visuals. You've mentioned something to do with the way we carry, sort of, we carry our women. Sindio? There are a number of songs that we do or perhaps perform, and there are women behind the beats, they are twerking and etc. Sindio? So first things first, me I will say this. It's just opening the spaces. The space has been dominated for so long by men. That is one thing. And to some extent, we kinda call it patriarchal. It is because we defined it as that way. But again, you also need to understand the role of women in music and visuals, perhaps, in videography. Because the reason as to why you see most of the ladies, our women, they twerk, they dance in a certain way within our videos, it is because they don't have jobs. They don't have opportunities. Our women, they need to pay bills. So the only thing they feel like they're supposed to do is, kujeka in a certain way. But Mimi, I would really like ask our ladies, let's not buy some ideologies from men. Let us create our own spaces. Then men support our women. For example, when Karembo was performing yesterday, you realized something, yeah? The MC, Karembo told the MC, I'm tensed. But what happened after she performed? The MC congratulated her. Sindio? Alimraise to a certain level enye yeye alikuwa amejiona ako chini. So it is our responsibility to raise our stars. You realize that there was a group of men that were chanting Karembo's name there. That is what you're supposed to do. You see? Then our women are also supposed to be informed in terms of the content, lyricism. Because there are a number of women who would want to, perform, write music, but they don't have content. They don't have the skills to do it. So it is our responsibility to open up the spaces so that they can also learn from us and we learn from them. Let us understand their problems. Let us understand their challenges, and whatever they want to gain, we give them. Yeah.
Okay. Asante sana.
I don't know. Okay. Because if you look, the moment that we are chanting, the other artists that we see, they are not conscious. But at the same time, we are coming with content where we say, like, and this also goes with what also we stand as Pussy Power. We are against the politics of shaming women with their biological body and shaming women for their body anatomy integrity. So I'd love to hear why come with a content maybe that will say Waiguru example. I don't want to mention names. We'll go with a slit because you see there's pro-choice, there's my dress, my choice. And not use maybe, let's say Raila, who will put a denim t-shirt, you see. So I'd really love to understand that because it's something that troubles me so much with comrades that I really, really love and comrades that I really respect, but their content, you hear it, you're like, you're hapo pia mimi niguza kama mwanamke.
Okay. So basically what I was trying to say is let us not serve the people using our bodies. I think that is the main point. Like, we have rights and freedoms for us to gain political power without like downgrading ourselves. You know, like us giving in to favors and stuffs. So because mostly, and it was even on newspapers that there are a number of politicians, female politicians, who need to subscribe for them to be in certain political parties. Understand? And so for me, I feel like that's not the way it's supposed to be, because we need to be equal. We need to practice equality and equity. So our women should be respected the way they are. Understand? So hatufai kuji like wanatuchukua kama vyombo. Tukirudi kwa zile literature za shule, ulikuwa unaona mwanamke anatumika kama chombo. So for us, what you're trying to say is usifungue slit ndio upate opportunity. Unajua, uko na power kama wewe mwanaume yenye unaweza access exact services, unaweza simama kama MP ama nani, whoever, without you downgrading yourself and giving in to favors and stuff.
Okay, thank you. But and I think what Rachel wants to say is, even as we're coming up with our content, especially us being in this space, we need to have clarity on the ideology and also make sure that we are not the ones who are abusing the rights.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So I see so many hands. Okay. Please, I would ask that we are very, very brief because we are really, the time is far gone. So don't make it very long, make it very brief. And we're gonna take, let me see the hands again. Okay, it's the whole hall. Okay, so we're gonna take 4.
1, 2.
And then he's gonna answer them, and then the rest after.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, youth. My name is Okanda Eugene. I run a youth-based leadership organization that's called Unlock, where we empower the youth through leadership training, career mentorship workshops, and also personal capacity building. For a long time, there seems to be a misunderstanding between the older generation and we, the younger generation. And there's this constant fight that has always been there. And the older generation seems not to understand we, the youth. And I think the landscape of leadership and governance has really changed drastically. First of all, I want to commend you for the work that you're doing on the other side. May God bless you so much. Now, my question will be, in line with that fight between the older generation and the younger generation, because the youth have been looked at as rowdy. We of course go to the street, break property and stuff so that we can be heard. Now, the question will be, do we really have enough youth who have the moral authority to call our leaders to order? And what can we do to increase this pool of youth who have the moral authority to call our leaders to orders? And what are you doing in your space so that it's not about making noise, but it's about, we come up with agendas that when we sit with the older generation, they can understand what we are talking about. Thank you. The moral authority. Do we have the moral authority to call our leaders to orders, young people?
Okay, thank you. We get that. There was another question behind here.
I think because we still have other panelists coming on this stage, and it's equally like we are in the same agenda, sharing success stories, I'll request that we minimize the questions from the audience to 3, of which we have already elapsed. So I think the rest you can keep your comments for the rest of the panelists, because checking at my time now, we only have around 1 hour 19 minutes to have the rest of the panelists. So I think it's going to be tight. So I request, and also we are supposed also to engage those online, the people commenting online that are making noise right now. So I request you to allow me read some of the comments online. I know we are live from Forum Civ Facebook page. And just to read a few of the comments, we have Edwin Koga saying youth should be sensitized on the importance of attending public participation to exercise their voice towards development at the community level. I think this is very important. Thank you so much, Edwin Koga. Sharon Odera says youth in much are viewed as goons by the big men. It is time we refuse getting into their pockets. Hashtag defending democracy. They're calling us goons, and when they come during the electioneering period, we take peanuts and cheer. We put on their t-shirts. We should say no to this. Thank you, Sharon. We have Onyango Makoseo saying, how do you go about this profiling? Because you realize that most of the youth are afraid to come out, because the moment we come out and talk about a vice that is touching on government or people with money, we are either hecklers, thugs, or even goons. Most of us are taken for granted. Hashtag defending democracy. I think this is very powerful. And then we have, Njeri K. Wamwangi. There are ministries for youth and arts and culture, but they are not in the youth, art, and culture spaces. They are not in these conversations. So, where are they? And who are they serving? How do we draw them in? Or they draw us in? That's a question she's asking. Where is the meeting point? Why do we always seem like we are at war with them and they are with us? Very interesting question. I think this is something that we can engage as you're winding up with these panelists here. And then we have Duncan David Onyango again saying, public participation is conducted to conform with the law, but citizens are not being actively engaged in the process. So it's more of rubber stamping. We're there to participate, but our issues are not taken in. Onyango Makosewe, I also had dreadlocks, but how you are being addressed in the government offices, sometimes you ask yourself if this is a country or you are a refugee. I think these are some of the victims we have online. I'll go again. The rest are saying following. Thank you so much, Masio Dondo. Thank you so much, Pichalando. Thank you so much, Apesi. Thank you, Asante Sana. Everyone is a work of art. Thank you, Apesi. Apesi saying big up Willis and Songora. Okay, I think these were initial comments. So those are a few of the comments. Keep on posting your comments. We have a hashtag defending democracy. We have Twitter also. You can follow the conversation. So back to you, Mikali, as you end up.
Thank you very much. And it's really encouraging to get that feedback because, and this is why it's important to have these stories told, because it is only when he tells his story that we relate and we start also giving our stories. So Hezbon, 30 seconds. What is your message as you depart?
We are forming our own systems. We are tired of following the current system. So we have the social movement. If you want to be part and parcel of the social movement, in each of our area codes. For example, Mukuru, Dandora, Kayole, Kasarani, we have social justice centers. So if you want to be part and parcel of this initiative, kindly join the system. So maybe if you allow me, I'll do the verse, then I'll appreciate for being here.
All right, you can do the verse as we prepare to get our next panelist online. Thank you very much, and we celebrate you.
Shukran.
Asante.
All right, makofi tafadhali, ladies and gentlemen, makofi. An amazing conversation. How many of us agree it's an amazing conversation? Please raise up your hand. If you believe it's an amazing conversation, raise up your hand. Comrades power! Comrades power! Viva with social accountability, viva! Forward with democracy, forward! Forward democracy, forward! Forward with gender equality, forward! Forward with fighting for justice, forward! Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one comment online that is really itching me. I want to, I cannot ignore this. Onyango Makoso is saying, I think music, like any other art, has its own audience. If you feel certain music or musician doesn't sing what you like, I feel you are at liberty to excuse yourself. There are so many music that praise women, and also those video vixens are paid to do so. Some of them get exposure through that. I just feel that every artist has his own audience. Let's learn to encourage our artists to do their art so long as they don't infringe on someone's rights. Let's create our own space. That's what democracy entails. Hashtag defending democracy is a very strong message. I think we can deliberate this. Paka kesho tutaendelea paka kesho kutwa. Tuwezi maliza your conversation because I know we have feminists in the house. We have gender warriors in the house. All right, so this is a conversation that we need to set up time, but I think we can still engage online. Ladies and gentlemen, as my brother is stepping out of stage right now, mwikali bado tuko naye hapa hapa paka asubuhi lakini hatukeshi. So I like us now as we are on this conversation, just to break the monotony. Ladies and gentlemen, join me once again in welcoming this very great artist. She's an inspiration. And because she's already mentioned here, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Karembo. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Yeah, I love that. Makofi yaendelee. Napenda sana. Thank you. Karembo. Karembo on stage with a very strong piece. Keep on clapping, ladies and gentlemen. Keep on clapping. Asante sana. Just to remind us, we are Democracy Week. Hashtag defending democracy. Tuko paka asubuhi lakini hatukeshi. Courtesy of Forum Civ. Of course, asante sana. Karembo. Clapping.
So siko hapa kuwatetesha niko hapa kuwatetea, so vueni hizo kofia zenu cause leo nawavalia peruk. toeni hayo makoti yenu cause leo na wavalia court dress, so silence in court. See, they are our men. The fact that they don't shed tears in our presence doesn't mean that they don't cry. Ask his pillow. This pillow has series and sequence of praying, crying, and shouting. This pillow acts as his comforter because every time he's broken, every time his plans don't work out, come kushare na hiyo pillow. He's the person that the society assumes is strong. See, he's strong, he can protect himself, he doesn't need defense. He's the person that the family looks up to. So at the age of 15, ashajua yeni mwanaume, ashajua kuhaso, si yendo upeleka takataka za mama soko dam site anapewa sosi, yendo fagia ile movie before show ianze, si yendo try kuput a smile on mom's face. Every time mama kifeel last born atalala njaa, si yendo try kuprovide. At the age of 20, ashapata mrembo, akili kapiga amepata helper watakoperate na wa saving equity, kumbe ana invest gakuyo. So if she amefanya sahau akona sisi vile yao mzungushia kiuno na mchocha yendo king ashasahau mamdo the only queen. So siza kiona change kwake Eva anyakuwa manoti, alidhani amewahi kuwahi kumbe kimeibio, hii ni fuliza bro. So if she expect apelekwe salon, vacation na shopping in Dubai, na juataki kuwa considered less of a man, mlipia hadi keja na yako inakuja kutingwa. So keja yake tingwa, squeeze ye udozinje kalori. If for better and for best ashamtoka, ashalet kusote iwadu apart. Si hii ndo life hawa maboy wanaishi. A cycle that keeps on repeating itself na tuna expect eti wako strong. Tumepay so much attention to the girl child tukasahau that even the boy child anapitia the same struggles. So in your shoes, nimekataa kuassume you're strong. In your shoes, nimeelewa why daily breaking news neti a man has killed his problems. Oops, sorry, I mean his wife. In your shoes, nimeelewa why men do wako highly affected na depression. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep chanting. The strength of a woman. Comrades power! Comrades power! Comrades power! Alafu kuna wale wanaume that keep on taking advantage of innocent ladies. Tunataka tuwakemee. Sema shetani ashindwe. Shetani ashindwe. Kemea vipo mchafu ashindwe. Yes, you must be civilized. We are here to empower women practically to ensure they move and achieve whatever they have. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hereby now have to leave this stage. And Mwikali, keep on doing the amazing work you're doing. Kwaherini.
Shawatu, it is not Mwikali, it is Njoki Gachana. Unatuparisha watu sana. That was a very powerful piece by Karembo. Asante sana. And it is a powerful way to invite our next guest on stage. Suzanne Silantoi. We all know her. We've seen her on our screens very powerfully when she was aspiring to be the senator of Nairobi. She's also an expert in policy matters, youth governance, and is she around? I have not. Suzanne? Suzanne Silantoi? She was around. I see her. Yeah, I had seen her earlier, so I thought session ilimbamba sana mpaka kaishia. But she's still around. As we wait for her to come chini, we are still having the conversation online. Hashtag defending democracy. As we are having these conversations here, we can continue having the conversations online, engage. I see a lot of people engaging, and it is really, really powerful. I also see Patricia just got in.
picture for young people.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. That is quite a shift. So I am going to let you introduce yourself because I had made another introduction, but we're also glad to have you here. Just tell us who you are and who you identify as.
Oh, wow, I was born and raised in Mathare. My name is Patricia Mutheu, but I'll always want to be referred as Mutheu Musimi. I'm elected in Mlango Kubwa, Mathare constituency. It's one award in one of the largest informal settlements, if not in Africa, in the world. I'm a founder of ex-convict, community-based association, and also a founder of ex-convict women, all based in informal settlements of Nairobi. I'm a champion of gender values, and I tend to identify myself more of an activist vis-a-vis politician because of what, you know, the politician name tags along. I'm a mother of one, a beautiful girl, who is years old. And my wish is to live in a country that respects system and embraces change and direction in terms of what to implement and what we have in store for young people. Oh, I forgot to say, I'm also used to be a professional soccer player. I was the first female CEO of a football club, East and Central Africa. And I do lots of mentorship to young women and young men. So young people are very dear to me, and I'm really glad to be here. And I must apologize for coming late. It's not like I disregard this sitting, but it was because of unavoidable circumstances. So I'm really excited and happy to be here.
Right, asante sana, Patricia. I have seen Suzanne somewhere. Please don't go far. After we are done with Patricia, we will come to you. So back to you, Patricia. What is your story before you became the MCA, before people knew Patricia, the MCA? What was your story? What inspired you to move from being this ghetto girl playing football to wanting to vie for leadership?
I'll take you back a little. And I'm also the face of police brutality in Kenya. A year ago, I was brutally attacked in my place of work, and I have to stay up to date. I'm yet to get justice. And you can imagine, I have a profile in Kenya. So that's just a reminder. It's not something that I would want to celebrate, but it's something that helps me identify with all the extrajudicial killings that go on in my ward. So as a young person, please be very careful with your engaging when it comes to law enforcers. Now, what inspired me to get into politics? Like I said previously, I founded an organization that was supposed to integrate ex-convicts back into the society. Because coming from Mathare, most of my friends, if not 90%, 80%, are either way indirectly or directly engaged into illegal activities. And we all know why. So when I was growing up, I lost lots of friends, and especially male counterparts. So I had to come up with something that I thought, like, you know, like this saying that say, if you want to be the change, it starts with you. So I founded the ex-convict so that the people who are incarcerated can come back and be assimilated back to the community. What did my organization do? We impacted them with practical skills. I made sure we had a platform where we can dialogue, both religious leaders, parents, and the culprits, to come up with a way forward, okay, and a good word so that they can be able to be accepted back into the community, and it becomes easy for them to look for jobs. How did we do it? We made sure after someone gets back from the maybe committee, industrial area, Shimolatewa, we'll put them in a program, practical program, okay, paid, where they'll acquire a skill and then get a recommendation from the police, area police, OCS, from the, what do you call it, from the religious and the parents as a community. Because I had a lot of success stories that will, you know, like, what do you call it, inspire other young fellas to stop doing what they were doing and actually want to join the right side of law. Now, as I was doing this, I realized there was a gap in terms of legislation. And today, this came timely. A friend of mine, who is a former beneficiary of ex-convict organization, who by chance got nominated, came up with a motion today compelling the county government to implement inclusion of youth who've been incarcerated. And for me, even if it's one and it's a success story, it's a win for all. So that really inspired me to get into these positions. But I would say when I was running, my main aim was not even winning. It was to inspire a child, a girl child from Mathare to believe in herself. And not Mathare, a girl child from Mathare, Kibera, anywhere, to believe in herself and ask for these seats. And do you know what happened afterwards? Right now, 2022, I have more than 4 women asking for that seat. So one way or another, I've achieved what I wanted, to inspire. And this was created because I felt there was a gap. And let me tell you, young people, we need a lot of enforcement and enlightenment. This government, and mark my words, this government will never implement anything if we don't ask for it. If we are not aware of what we are entitled, trust me, wamelala kulala. Ignorance has put this country to where it is. And if I see this type of sittings, it makes me happy because we're here to learn from one another. So big up. I would like to thank whoever organized this to keep on doing this and actually devolve it into ghettos and call me. I will be there to share my story.
Patricia, you say you grew up in Mathare, and you just mentioned that you're a victim of police brutality. We all remember, I mean, you were clobbered while the whole nation was watching. And knowing Mathare is a hotbed for police brutality and all the state violence that we talk about, and you being a leader and experiencing that, does that mean that we're not yet where we want to be? Does that mean that from the little girl that you were in Mathare, experiencing all those things that you were experiencing, to now you being a leader, not much has changed, And what can we do to change that situation?
What can we do? Become more proactive. Become more aware. It will be hard for me to protest that I never got justice, but it will make a difference if we had all of us identify with that. So what needs to be changed? We need to stop shifting blames. I'll tell you, 90% of politicians, once you elect them, their dynamics change. Why? Because you're getting into dirty water. You're getting to a place that people don't have like minds. You become frustrated. I'll tell you a story. Just before Corona happened, I had a motion that I was compelling the county not to pay insurance money to AAR because it's your taxes. I was compelling them to invest that money directly to the level 4 hospitals we have. Because as a house, we cannot compete. Like, you can't leave your house and go to a private investor or whatever, private house, and start investing there. What happened? They shot the motion down. And I come from a ward that healthcare it's a serious issue. So imagine what 1.5 would have done into our level 4 hospitals. How many are they? Mama Lucy, Mutuini, Pumwani, and Mbagadi. It's very hard for me to push an agenda when I'm alone. It makes a whole difference if I have 1,000 people behind me. Great leaders are made from great followers. But squeezy, kila mtu, there is this connotation, sijui kuomoka. Lots of people, I will tell you, most of youths, they want to get into this position because kwa akili yao, they have this kuomoka. My friend, that house is something different. But if we have people who are like-minded, trust me, we can change this country. But if you expect one person, I'm this one person who represents 40,000 people from Lango Kubwa. And then I have another 122 who are not even aware why they got elected. Can you imagine how frustrating it is? But you know what? I choose not to complain. I'll try to make my little change, hoping that in future, because right now we have a population that is literate and, you know, can actually articulate their issues in a manner that everyone will understand. I'll still keep on pushing, but if we really want to experience real change, please, young people, it has to start with us. Let's stand for something. Because right now, economy is just on another level. It will affect all of us. Sinukweli? Sinukweli? So we have to stand up and say, hapana, tunataka hii. Why are we not doing this? If you have a motion that needs to be passed, you don't have to wait. Call me. Tell me you're my mouthpiece. I think if we do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, okay, we will achieve, because bills are made by us, motions are pushed by us. So we need to get that information from you people. And that's why this sitting, again, it's very important to me.
Patricia, this week we're interrogating the milestones and the progress that we've made in terms of democracy. And a lot of times, I think we've been having this conversation, and we're always asking, you know, when we're talking about defending democracy and the party politics that are in this country, because most of the time when the elected are put into account, their biggest excuse is if you do not toe the party line, then you're out. If you do not toe the party line, then you're discriminated. So I want you to talk about the party politics and the democracy in this country.
Definitely, every party has their own agenda as to what they need to implement in their manifesto, okay? And maybe before I dwell more on party politics, because I just want to look at success stories. Right now, there are slots for independent candidates, okay? You will not be answerable to any party leader. Right now, in Nairobi, we have 3 independent candidates. Sometimes, majority are not always right. So let me give you this hope. If you want to change the party politics, we must join the parties and make that change from grassroots. Alternative, vie as an independent candidate. But again, for any motion to pass in that house, you need a quorum. And that's why parties have been very, very strong when it comes to Kenyan politics. So what do we do? What can we do? Join those parties, change them from inside. Right now, youths, we're at forefronts of, advocating for change. But I'm not going to advocate for change if I'm outside, right? Is it true? How many have registered in any party?
Are we registered party members?
So I have, out of this sitting, I only have 2. So how are we going to make changes in those parties? That's where the change needs to start. I remember when I was young, my mom had this kitambulisho ya KANU. I don't know how many people had that. Alikuwa na this membership ya KANU. Because let me tell you, if you are the majorities in those parties, tunaweza boycott, we can make a change. We can choose who we want to vie for presidency or these seats. But if we, sit back, when will we achieve change? I've given you 3 dynamics. So it's up to us to decide what will work for us and how fast do we want it to work. So 1, youth must join parties. Why? For the purposes of quorum. Again, why is that? Because for any motion, for any law to be passed, we need the majority kwa nyumba. So tungekuwa na majority kwa nyumba, the previous past tax haingepita. Si ni kweli? But sasa because we don't have, and sometimes it's the party leaders who give out the certificate, tumepigwa ngeta. So let's join parties. Let's join parties. Let's formulate our own parties. Let us have strong party lines. Just like any other democracies that have proved, like look at America. We have Democrats, Republicans. They have what they stand for. In nowadays, hapa Kenya, party ni after 5 years, break coalition, it's a system. Who allows us? Tunafuata tu. We need to stop being followers and start making decisions.
Okay, that's a very confusing place to be at, because when you speak about party politics, there's not a lot of democracy, and there's a lot of dictatorship, and then you ask us to join those parties. that is a bit problematic unless we are going to take over the parties. But finally, before I let you go, what has been your experience as a woman in the house, in leadership? And what would be your encouragement to, young women who are aspiring to actually get into leadership positions come next year?
Just wear your confidence as a woman. That's all you need. A lot will be thrown at you. It's worse when you're aware of who you are. It's a place where you're not supposed to even apply lipstick because you'll be branded as a slay queen. A couple of times, I've had people call me slay queen in the floor of the house. They've demeaned leadership and made leadership masculine. But it's a lie. It's only an inferior person who tries to make the other person inferior. Women, we can. But I have to tell you, it's not easy. And not politics. It's not easy being a woman and you're in a position of leadership. You must grow thick skin. A lot of shit will be thrown at you. Oh, the way she walks. Oh, she was talking to that. Oh, she got this because she slept with X, Y, Z. You know what? You rubbish all that. Hold your head high. Wear your stilettos and go get them. That is what I can tell you. A lot will be thrown at you. And not only in politics, even in any senior positions. Like when I was appointed the CEO of Mother United, there was a lot of stories. But guess what? I made a big change in sports sponsorship in Kenya because that was the only time a Kenyan team got sponsorship of over 25 million. And that was a first in Kenya. From then, all the football club, all the sponsors have followed suit. Before, they used to do 5 million. So I rubbished the slay queen, the pussy power kind of narrative that is directed to women to just make them feel bad about it. Like I said, wear your stilettos, get your red lipstick, wear your wig, your weave, whatever. Go get them. You can. Because the moment you don't play that, these men will crush you. Men feel entitled when it comes to positions, when it comes to promotions, and even right now, I'm seeing them. Despite voting out the 2/3 gender rule. Look at all these coalitions. They're all male-oriented. Does it mean we don't have brains? Thank you. So go get them. Yes, you can.
All right, powerful assertions, and I don't think there's anything more that we can add there. So najua mnapenda kuna politicians sana, mnakuanga na maswali mingi. So I am actually going to let you now interact with Patricia. But we're going to make our questions very brief because we're also, trying to keep time. So I want to see how many people have questions for Patricia, so that the microphone can go round. There's one there, there's one here. Okay, can we take those two questions?
Nianze mwisho. Mimi naitwa Keniga. Mimi natoka mtaa inajiita Dando ama Dandora. Mi kwanza naweza kukomenda kwa good job yenye unadu mtaani ni poa. Lakini kwa siasa inakuwa tricky sana na wanawake. Sijui ni kwa nini. Ni juu mimi siku yenye nitakuja kuona wanawake wana trust their own voices. na wana build alliances. Mimi siku nyanda kuja kuona wanawake wamejikusanya waka create alliance, inaweza kuwa poa. Jifomini mcreate alliance, kwani haya kina Raila kina nani wanawashindana nini? Senye pia mcreate alliance yenyu na mtrust voice zenyu. Mimi hapo ndo sana nitajua wenyewe mmeamuka. Otherwise ni tricky. Thank you.
Yes, there's another one behind there.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dixon, the initiator Link Community CBO, but it works around my biological domicile where I was born, not within Nairobi. So just to go straight to the point, I have like 3 questions, very briefly, madam, if you allow me. Number 1, owing to the fact that you are a youth, you are a young woman, and when you are getting into this political game, that is politics, what challenges did you face as 1, a youth, 2, a woman? What was the notion of the community towards your aspirations then, before you were elected? Number 2, now that you are in an elective position, you have all the power, you're not nominated. What have you done within your space of leadership to ensure that the challenges you noticed before you were elected as a woman or a youth are addressed through you in your leadership space? Then number 3 is a comment. Our main challenge as youths and women is 1. We are our own enemies. We will be looking for our enemies anywhere, but you realize you go around left, right, and center, you find you are your own enemy. Until such a time or such a day that youths will start uniting to one common goal, women will start uniting for one common goal, we will be having the most better positions in our community because we are the majority. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you. As you answer that, I will ask the MC to also just go through the online questions. As she finishes, see if we have questions online.
I think I would like to correct that notion of women are our own enemy. That was a narrative that was created long time ago by men who are chauvinist and didn't want to see their girl child in places. That's why women were never taken to school. They were exchanged with cows. Why? They kept them illiterate. We are not. That's why I'm in that position. I was elected by both women and men for representation. So, any young woman here, hiyo ni narrative ya kitambo, sawa? Siku hizi tunapendana. Na siku hizi tunasapotiana. Si ni ukweli? Hata sisi tumekuwa comrade. I've gotten lots of support from women. So let's change that narrative. It's not true. And this should go to any young woman. Kwa village, kwa shule, we are not. In fact, men are worse. Wanaonaga unainukia pale, wanakata miguu. We are not. We are maternal. We are mothers. We nurture. And that's why we've been, a bit liberal and soft when it comes to this position. If you know it's going to bring problem, you just let them be. But we're not stupid. It's because we allow. That is our nature. So let us not be lied. There is no way to tutawaza and then to become our own enemies. That is 1. 2, as a woman, like I told you, you have to go there and get them. Right now, I'm the chair of Ward Development Fund, elected among women, among men and seniors who've been there. I just had to be present and believe in what I have. Like I said, it's just the confidence that you need. What have I done to women in my ward? I've created a platform for mentorship. And that's why today I would say there's so many women who are going to run for 2022 race inspired by Mutheu, mentored by Mutheu. So even if it's going to be one, at least we've started somewhere. Tuko sawa hapo? Ama hapa kuna mwanamke tena anipendi? So, hii story ya kusema ati sisi ni enemies wa wengine. Ebu gojeni, cheki kwa hii platform, hii podium. Mnaona inaweza ama iwezi? Hapa kuna chali. So it's possible. Lakini, goja, boy child. Atuachi nyuma. Najua rada imechafuka mbaya. Na saa hii, cause ya zile mitigation zile kwa na hawa same wachagua, that's why na lose my boy child kwa gun, tei. Unaget? Cause ukizaliwa uliambia wewe ni mwanaume ufai kulia kaa ngumu. Na unaumia ndani. Na sidhani madhako alikuwa anakuambia hivyo, ni mzae hapa anakuambia wewe ni mwanaume unalia nini? You get me? So you can see, even youths, we've been messed. So we have to unite both men and women, and as youth, and set one agenda. Kama ukiona udem anaweza, msupport. Ukiona youth man pale ni young anaweza, madem, tumsupport.
Thank you very much. It is all, again, this is why we tell these stories, because how many times do you get a platform where your leader is speaking to you in a language that you relate, you know? So thank you very much, Mutheu. MC, we have questions online that are directed to Patricia.
All right, thank you. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Makofi tafadhali. Mheshimiwa. Sio mlaumiwa. Hakuna point, si ndio? Pigeni makofi tafadhali. So now, I'd like us to also engage the guys following us online. Wow, huko online kumewaka moto. Hapa ndani kumewaka moto, sijui tutaenda wapi sasa. Noma sana. The hashtag is defending democracy. We are celebrating, we are marking Democracy Week. We have a couple of comments online. Starting us off is Lillian Awar. Thank you so much for following. She's saying, thanks for changing the societal norms, for the inspiration to push more women into joining politics spaces. But you need to push for policies at the county level that support youths. Instance, many youths are survivors of police brutality, police killings, profiling. Let's put our synergies together and we'll achieve a lot collectively. Hashtag defending democracy. Mheshimiwa, amegonga ndipo sio? Asante sana. Next we go to Onyango Makosewe. Hey, kizungu hii, noma. As a youth, we have to understand that we will face out. We have to ask ourselves, do we want to live our country in a better place or the way we found it? What will be the next generations of youth identify us with? Or rather, what legacy are we leaving behind? You realize that the youth in days of James Orengo, Raila Odinga, and others are identified as second liberators. I feel we should choose something, be it social reproductive health, police brutality, GBV, sexual gender-based violence, or those other vices that affect us as a country and try identify ourselves with. Let's fight for those rights. Let's go into those spaces. Let's not talk, shout without a clear channel of implementing these things. We are many, but still marginalized. How do we allow that? Hashtag defending. Very deep words. We need to start acting. Not just speak on panels, tuongee mingi mingi, tukitoka, tunaenda kukunywa wine, na tumeongea maji, si ndio? Asante. We go again. Lillian Aworo comes back again, says, party politics and party agendas is a problem in Kenya. When elected, you need to adhere to the party agendas. At times, they are not right and okay. Hashtag defending democracy. So you might be a right person, but you go into the party, you subscribe to a party whose policies and agendas don't subscribe to your personal opinions or even manifesto, your life, sio? So unakuwa mfungwa na mtumwa katika chama. So how do we navigate from that? Then we go to Jerry K. Mwangi. Thank you for following. Very strong comments online, ladies and gentlemen. Their ministries, I think this nilisoma. Hii nilisoma kitambo. So there is Nicholas Owita saying there is so many injustices in this country of ours. We need to educate society about their rights. Chapter 4 of the Constitution, Article 49. Yule akona katiba kwa simu, ingia Article 49. Hashtag defending democracy. Thank you so much. I think I return it back to you.
All right, asante sana. And you can just get the reactions that people are encouraged that you're a young leader and you're doing different things, you know, in the space. So as a conclusion, and as we invite our next panelist, we would want you to, in 30 seconds, give us your parting shot.
Stand up, be counted. We are not going to achieve anything by sitting in the boardrooms or even sitting here. If we really need to change the party politics, we must be the members of those political party. Mumepe awatu a lot of monopoly because of our ignorances. And I would like to urge the conveners of this sitting, tafadhali, tunaweza fanya kwa kila base. And once we do that, encourage youth to join the parties that think suits their agendas. Otherwise, tutaendelea kupangwa na tutawai get na solution.
All right.
Thank you. Hapo sasa.
Asante sana, Mheshimiwa Patricia Mutheu. Always a pleasure. Asante for finding time and keep doing what you're doing. We celebrate you and we are behind you. Asante sana. We want to still stay in Mathare and I want to welcome Anthem Republic to come and give us a piece as Suzanne prepares. As Suzanne prepares to come join me on stage. Asante sana, Patricia.
Thank you very much.
Anthem Republic.
Mambo vipi? Mko vipi? Nataka kuona hapa mkono. Nionyeshe mkono hapa kila mtu. Kwa nini unainua mkono? Saa zingine ukiambiwa pia uliza kweli. But anyway, I go by the name Anthem Republic. I'm a spoken word artist all the way from Madare. I'm also the co-founder of Sanaa Center alongside Miko Migra. Wapi hapo? Kabisa. Sanaa Center is a safe and organizing space for creatives. Tuna empower wasanii tukijiempower sisi wenyewe pia. Kweli. But ni noma because my youth mtaa wanaendelea kudai every now and then despite of talk zote watu wanabonga hapa. Unaona? Na kila mtu ni candidate wa extrajudicial killings huko mtaa. Unaona? Tunabonga hapa na sometimes watu take action. This piece is like a black paint that paints my heart black every time I recite it. It's like a horror movie. And I'm not the main character, so it's obvious I'm approaching my grave. Brave? Brave is no longer my name. My name is extrajudicial killing candidate. And I know CS somewhere is expecting me to pass, so let me pass this message before I pass. Because I live for the moment. More is not meant for me. God's plan, never. Afande's plan. Afande, kahunanga rada jio kitu kifietua huwa ina mada mtu cha uwe la. Soka spirit kakikuambia uwa kaambie la. Lazima ujue hiyo ni light unadim kwa familia yenye shachoreshwa giza. Familia yenye inawishio ingekuwa mchezo wa kuigiza. Juleta breadwinner angeamka endelee kuchase dream. Dream yake ya kumake society according to God's will but blunder. Hii ni real na ushamgeuza your dream so. Daily unamchase simba akifuata swara kando. Mtani utupia mani nikienda jiji kuna kanjo. Hata kani cheo mbona kumada ikuwe ndio dajo. God am I living mapapa sama huu ndio mwanzo. Huku hata ukiamka mapema bado atakuita the late. Hakuna kabisa difference ya ugonjwa na afande. Kuzote zinaweza kushika hata ukuwe na kipande. Afande na respect the fact that wewe ndio uko in charge. Na hata kama umedunga koti wewe si koti usini judge. Buda fuata sheria, mi pia nitafuata sheria. Tunde better world naweza kamstenje kuwagotea. Na ukinipata niko beza sio pia mimi sitapotea. So afande itabidi unijenge kitu kidogo kuzua siko kazi na shida zako zangu acha zangu ziwe zako na tubadilishe life sio kumalizanga life na nicheza party yako hapana cheza na party yako vile kwa ghetto mimi na struggle kama lion in the jungle man the daily mimi na hustle hizi shida nizi sikuishi bila skando nyumba kuchomwa na kando vita jua mpango wa kando na bala ya kubeta things unawasend things hata kama uko things umeshindwa ku defend game so unatafuta tu fame tushakubali wewe ni top scorer una madama youth in the name of ni wakora brother don't you know that's wrong Anthem Republic
hey asante sana Anthem leaves you asking so many questions sababu hiyo message inafikanga home. Now to our next presenter, tulikuwa tumeshamu introduce Suzanne Silantoi. As she comes up, please give her a round of applause. Hers is going to be a bit different. She had prepared a presentation, so they're just going to put a stand for you there. And as they prepare the stand, maybe you can introduce yourself. I
don't need the stand, thank you.
Sawa, asante. Take it on.
Hi everybody. Nataka kuona kana naweza waona nyote. How are you? Mko sawa? Okay. So my name is Suzanne. And I'll give you a short story, a little bit of a story. And then we'll have the questions. That's fine? Okay. So my short story is titled Taking a Leap of Faith. So I'll give you a background. Can you all see the screen? Mnaona screen? Okay. So can we have the first slide? Okay. I don't know how many of you can see that, but just from a scan, I'm assuming most of you are from Nairobi, right? There's just the one guy who asked the question over there who said he's not from Nairobi. Na ule mwenye alipeana hongo to the cop earlier who are not from Nairobi. Ati? Okay. Okay, it's just here. Anyway, so I'm assuming all of us are from Nairobi, right? Okay. So if you look at this picture, can you see Nairobi? Mnaona kama hiyo ni picha ya Nairobi? No? Okay. I like that picture of Nairobi a lot. Because it shows Nairobi as this green, really nice place, yeah? And some fun facts about Nairobi. Nairobi is the economic hub of East and Central Africa. It's like the transit place for you to get almost anywhere in Africa. Nairobi is the money in this country. It's the money in most countries in East and Central Africa. Nairobi is also considered like really, really beautiful. People think Nairobi is really, really beautiful. And a personal favorite of myself, next, is Nairobi has really nice sunsets. Ukiangalia jua, sometimes it looks really good. Nairobi has like 4.3 million people. It's a nice place. It's a really nice place. One of the best cities in the world to live in. But then, next, as most of you know, most of Nairobi also looks like that. And in fact, 60% of Nairobi actually lives in these areas. And most of you have said you've come from Mathari. Any other hood represented here? Number 9? Dandora, somewhere else? Githurai, hey, somewhere else? Buruburu, okay. Yeah, so most of Nairobi also looks like this. And something that we end up feeling and seeing as Nairobians is a contrast. So every day you're faced with this really nice looking place, but then at the same time you're also faced with this place that also is not the best to look at. So we live in this contrast as Nairobians every day of our lives, and this is what we always see. And then when it comes to politically, let's go back to 2017. Can we have next? Oh, so yes, this is still Nairobi. So next. So we had Jubilee, and we had NASA. May their souls rest in peace. So those were the two main political parties that were. You were either on one side or the other. Yeah, so that's what politics looked like at that time for us. So there's a lot of dynamics. So you're here, Nairobi is a really nice place, it looks good, but then again, you're faced with so many contrasts every day of a Nairobi that is not what you see everywhere. And then again, there's all these political dynamics of these two main parties that keep telling us so many things about ourselves. And then there's us. There's the rest of us. There's me. There's you. So anyway, in 2017, I was 23 at the time. And so I've given you a context of where I was. I've grown up in Nairobi all my life. I have one brother, and my parents, I come from a very small family. I'm originally from Samburu. My mom is from Narok, but I grew up in Nairobi all my life. And I used to work in an NGO. And most of our work was actually in communication in the healthcare sector. So we would work with the Ministry of Health most of the time. And so I would be faced with these realities in an even deeper perspective, from a health perspective. So at around that time, kulikuwa na a doctor's strike and a nurse's strike for like 6 months. So basically hospitals were closed for a really long time. Sijui kama nakumbuka. And then the time kulikuwa na this scandal for the Ministry of Health for 5 billion. Sijui kama nakumbuka. I know, kuna kwa na scandals mob and everything, but this specific one had to do with health. And this is the sector that I'm working in. So nilikuwa nashangaa. As in, so what is my role in this whole situation? Yes, I live in this city that is nice, but also has so many contrasts. And then these are the main political parties that we're seeing. This is our political leadership. And at the same time, there's still so many people who can't access healthcare and who, I don't even know, where were kids being born? You know, for 6 whole months, how are they being immunized? See, you know that kids get immunizations for the first 6 months at least. I think up to 9. So like our total wanaenda wapi. Anyway, so I decided that I'm going to do something about it. So at the time I was 23 and I'm like, what's the best thing I can do? I'm going to get into politics. So that's what I did. The reason why I got into politics was, yes, I was working within the NGO space and they do a tremendous amount of work to contribute to the society, which is great. But at the end of the day, if you want to fix your society, you kind of have to fix your government. So that's what I thought, okay, let's see how we can do this. So I decided I'm going to vie for Senate in Nairobi. So next. That's NASA, rest in peace. And then, okay, so I decided to vie for Senate in Nairobi. So what did I do? A lot of people would ask me, what was your first, like ulifanya nini kwanza? Like, so like the millennial that I am, I Googled it. So I Googled and I found the IBC website and it gave me a few requirements. But then I thought this is too easy. Like, kulikuwa like 4 requirements, and I was like, there's no way. So I went to the IBC office and I walked in and I asked the guy, nataka requirements za kukuwa senator. So he's like, oh, for your dad, eh? I'm like, no. Uncle yako maybe, madhako, I don't know. It didn't help that I was kind of small, so he just assumed, of course, this is not for you, young girl. But anyway, he still gave me the requirements, and there were a few requirements I wanted to be as an independent, because again, the dynamics between the whole political thing were like really intense at the time. So I decided to be independent. That meant collecting signatures. Actually, do you know why we collect signatures if you're an independent candidate? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. So unajua ukiwa kwa chama, the electoral body assumes kuna a number of people who actually want you to vie. So if you're vying under independent, like how do you prove that there's someone who wants you to vie? You can't. So you collect 2,000 signatures of registered voters in Nairobi who have approved that they want you to vie. So that's actually why you do that. Anyway, so I did that. Then I formally registered as a candidate for Senate in Nairobi. So yeah, that's the first step that I took. I went to the IBC office. Then after that, what happened? So you've got time your campaign. So you're like, how do I even start campaigning? So given my candidature, I wasn't in a party. So ukiwa kwa chama, at least some chamas will help you organize things. They'll take you to specific places. They'll give you money. But see, mimi nilikuwa peke yangu. So what did I do? We decided, because you kind of have to, like, huwezi fanya social media campaign, by the way. It's not practical. So you have to do more. So what did I do? I decided to engage people in different ways with what I could afford. So what happened is we would go in a door-to-door kind of format. It's not door-to-door per se. There are like 4.3 million people. I can't possibly knock on everybody's door. So what did we do? We engaged in different ways. So next. So we decided to go to like maybe religious leaders and meet with religious leaders. I know this is like a topic right now, and people are concerned about people campaigning in church, but that's not what we were doing. We were just meeting with people who are within those spaces to just discuss, okay, so what is politics for you? How do you want to go about this and all that? So we started with that. So this is a picture of us in Kibra. We were meeting with the Nubian community, and we were meeting them at the mosque. Yeah, so we decided to do that. Next. We also decided to go to where people are working, because you find people where they are. Because sikuwa na do ya ku organize town halls like how other politicians would call you from wherever you are and they'd refund you your money. I didn't have money to do that, so I went to where you're working. So we went to pretty much all the markets that you can think of in Nairobi, and then within those markets you stop by the boda base. Place ya kuuza jaba, just everywhere. So we'd walk around really pretty much all day. So that's how the campaign trail look like? Next. And then obviously during these visits, you'd talk to people one-on-one. So that was actually the main way we would campaign. So I'd meet someone and ask them, I'd carry around flyers. So someone and tell them, my name is Annie, and I want to buy, and I need to vote, and yeah. So that's how I campaigned pretty much. Next, sorry. We'll engage with youth groups. You know, in various places you find young people just meeting and doing random things. I know there was a time I went to Mukurukwa Ruben, and there's this base like walikuwa nakula muguka. I really don't know if they had me, but like walikuwa wengi, and it was like on a Wednesday afternoon. It was a very interesting experience because it just showed me how much we're suffering from unemployment. So anyway, those are the kind of engagements that we used to have. So we'd walk around mainly. You wake up in the morning like at 6. You walk around all day from like about 9 to 6 p.m. and then you do other things. Mimi sikuwa nafanya campaigns za usiku juu nilikuwa naogopa sijui mimi ni dem, najua unajichunga tu hivyo. Yeah, and then the last thing was also through mass media. So a lot of people assume community radios are not effective, but community radios were actually a really key network for me. So one of those pictures was at Koch. We did Ruben FM, which is at Mukurukwa Ruben. I don't remember what the other ones were, but yes, community radios were really critical. And then also mass media through the mainstream media that you see. And then the last 2 days of the campaign, someone sponsored a road show. So we did road shows all around the city. And yeah, so that's just a brief overview of what the campaign looked like. And a few friends of mine took pictures of me and made a poster for me. They designed the t-shirts as well, and a couple of people donated t-shirts, and that's what we used to wear. I used to wear during the campaign, and a few people who volunteered to campaign with me would do as well. So this is one of the most memorable moments of the campaign for me. I'm standing on a motorbike. So what had happened was, you see how I would go campaigning, like, oh, hi, I talk to strangers in places. So we were in Isili, and Stricom na ile place yenye Mirayu kuja, and then they distributed from there. So I actually didn't know that's what it was, but kulikuwa tu na watu wamekaa. So nimeenda hapo nimeanza kuongea na msi fulani, and then he asked me, ati umesema nini? I'm like, oh, mimi naitwa nani, and navai for Senate, na nataka kura yako, and whatever. He's like, hey, ebu kuja. So he takes me to like the chairperson of that place, and then the guy is like, what? Ebu kuja uongee na kila mtu. So everybody gathered around, and then wakanieka on top of a boda ndio niongee nao. Said, but nakumbuka tu nilisema tu like, wase, and then everybody was shouting, hata wako nasikia kinasema. So like it was such a fun feeling because I was there like, tunaingia hiyo Senate, yeah, yeah. So it was really fun. Like that was one of the most memorable moments for the campaign for me. Now I want to go into some of the challenges practically. If you would like to vie, what are some of the challenges that you would face? So one of the biggest challenges for me was finances. A lot of people would ask me, okay, so how did you get money to do any of your campaign? I actually crowdfunded. I had a pay bill number, and I raised quite a bit of money, like from strangers who would send me things like, they'd either send me money or they would buy t-shirts or posters. Some people would send, someone paid for a billboard, and the company gave me an extra billboard as support for the campaign. Someone gave me a car, a van that we drove around. So most of the funding that I had was actually raised through volunteers and well-wishers. So of course it was still a challenge because in total, like I probably raised about 2 million shillings in kind and cash. But my opponents were spending like 400 million, 500 million for the campaign. So of course that was still a challenge. I couldn't do things that my opponents were doing. But then I found a way to just maximize with what I had. So it's a big challenge, but you can find a way around it. The other thing is my age. So I was 23 years old at the time. And it was funny to me that, we keep telling young people you should vie, you should get into politics and whatever. But that was the main thing people were faulting me for when I was vying. So they were like, okay, yeah, we want young people, but can you go and get a career and do something else with your life? And then you come back and retire in politics. And yet these are the same people who are saying they want young people in politics. So it's quite ironic. But yeah, so that was the main criticism that I had. The other thing was the perception that Senate was a big seat. So a lot of people would tell me, mbona ukuanza na MCA, ama unajua kiti ya kina mama ni women reps, so endo uvae huko. So those are some of the sentiments that I would get. But again, there's no such thing as a big seat or a small seat. I guess maybe the presidential one is a big seat. It's just a different role. Everybody does a different thing. Yeah, so that was a challenge. The other thing was social media was a battlefield. People can say really nasty things on social media, and we're humans, and I'll see what they've said, and it'll probably get to me a little bit. But yeah, every time there was a weird thing that was said, I just remind myself, why am I doing this? I just want to make a difference here. I'm just a Kenyan who's trying to do something about my country. You're not, but you're attacking me on social media, so I'll ignore that. Yeah, and then the other thing also is that I think we usually assume that Nairobi doesn't vote along tribal lines, but that still plays a big factor in our elections. So, like I said earlier, I'm from Samburu, which is a minority tribe. It worked to my advantage because I would be able to go anywhere. Like, kuna places huwezi enda kawe ni msee wa Jubilee, ama kawe ni msee wa NASA, but I could go anywhere. They'll be like, oh, okay, kuja tu. But then again, the consideration for the vote was still not as high as someone who they affiliated to when it comes to their tribe. So that was still a challenge. Yeah, so those are just a few challenges that I mentioned. And then I'll go into the lessons. So what are my main lessons from this whole thing? The main lesson that I picked out from this is that politics is doable. I think we have this perception that politics is for a specific few, or maybe like people who are really wealthy, or people who are from political families, but that's not always the case. I ended up getting about 32,000 votes, which I thought, okay, I don't know who you people are, but thank you. Was it 32,000 people can maybe just Nyayo Stadium twice, I think. So I was like, okay. I felt very encouraged by the fact that 32,000 people would actually listen to what I had to say. The other thing is I got a lot of support from youth-led organizations, and these are organizations like Siasa Place, G-Activate, Tribeless Youth, Positive Action. Those guys really came through. They supported me by having me go to specific forums, by sponsoring a couple of t-shirts and posters. So people keep saying that we don't support each other, but we actually do, and I felt that support from young people. Also the women. I was listening to the earlier conversation about women don't support one another, whatever. That's not true, actually. Women really come for each other, each other when it's needed. And I agree with what she said, that narrative is driven by men who are threatened by women. Yeah, so eventually, after the election period, I myself to this, and I decided to pursue public policy because I thought this would be a meaningful way to contribute to the country. So I have a master's degree in public policy and trying to work as a public policy analyst. So where I work, we provide political and economic risk analysis for clients and NGOs. And then the other thing is I run a podcast as well and a YouTube channel called Is That So? With Silantoi, where we talk about just simple things about how government works and how we can engage better to make our government, work properly. So like really simple things like, okay, so kulikuwa na budget ilisema nini? Like, what do you need to know about this budget? These are the taxes. These are the whatever. Kulikuwa na whole BBI process. So what exactly is this document saying? How is it different from the constitution that we currently have? So yeah, so that's what I currently do. So just take out from this is there are various ways that we can participate as young people in politics. And she mentioned one of them. You can join a party and become an active member of a party. You can vie. You can take my route and vie. That's also a viable option. But another thing that you can do, which I saw a lot of people in my journey doing, is identifying someone who you believe in and actually supporting their campaign. It doesn't have to be financially, it can be their time. There are people who volunteered to do my social media. There are people who volunteered to go with me to the campaign trail. There are people who volunteered to paste my posters elsewhere. So that's another way you can participate. So you don't have to box yourself just thinking that I have to vie for me to be able to participate in politics. And lastly, guys, take a leap of faith. Not necessarily in politics, just anywhere in your life, really. Maybe you want to invest in a business, or you want to, I don't know, whatever you'd like to do, take a leap of faith, it'll pay off. So that's me. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me at Silantoi Suzanne.
Wow. I hope the room is feeling as thoroughly inspired as I am. I mean, at 23, going for a senator, we celebrate you. I am still starstruck, But these are the stories that we talk about when we're saying disrupting the ecosystem. And having Suzanne stand here and tell us her story and take us through her journey is exactly why, Forum Civ, Siasa Place, and Creative Spills created these platforms for us to actually get to a place and believe we can. Because in our different spaces, we are doing different things. We're pushing for social change. So what better way to get encouragement than to hear from people who have dared to upset the status quo? I know we have so many questions for her, and so I'm going to ask us to ask questions. How many would want to interact with Suzanne? And I would also ask the MC to just go through the online platforms and pick questions for us, even as we get questions from the auditorium. So let me see how many hands we have so that we see how quickly we can do this. We're really, really doing badly on time. So I'm going to ask that we are very, very brief and to the point. And I've seen 5 hands, so we can quickly pick those before we get to the next session. Who has the mic? Please take it round. Please be as brief. Now I'm gonna really cut you if you start stories.
Hi, Suzanne. My name is Rachel, and if there's a vote, even if you say kura yako, siri yako, if there's a vote I'm really proud of, was voting for you despite I didn't know you. Nasi ni kubrag, I gave you my vote. So you have a task. So my question would be for you, I understand like when you talk about leadership, it's not about where you come from or who you are, but do you think the fact also maybe you're a bit middle class or from a privileged community, did it really work for you or against you when you're going to ask for the votes?
All right, thank you. Let's pick the other question.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
It's good to hear from you, and much appreciation for taking that leap of faith. I think I'll ask you the question I asked in the first segment, which was not answered. Do you think we have enough youths who have moral authority to run for government offices as the status of the youth? Because according to the National Bureau of Statistics, we have 35.7 million Kenyan youths. And we see there's not much that has been done, especially when you talk about youth and politics. Do you think we have enough youths who have the moral fabric to run for the government offices? Thank you.
All right, asante sana. Yes, I love that we are getting the brief bit.
Anaitwa Julius Okoth, a social justice warrior and a trainer on civil resistance. And I've really the word that you've used, that you let us disrupt the ecosystem. The theme or the hashtag for this meeting is defending democracy. Mine is concern. Na nikiona most of us tumetoka mtaani. Let me speak in Swahili now. Sisi kama vijana ambao wako hapa, mimi am not a youth, but vijana mnataka viti. Na tumeona kuna vitu ambavyo vinafanya tusipate hizi viti. Kuna sheria ilipitishwa, Election Act Section 22, that tangu jana nimekuwa hapa na leo sijasikia anybody talking about it. People are just talking about gender and other things. Kuna kitu inazuia vijana ama mtu yote asipate kiti. Section 22 ya Election Act inasema ya kwamba kama hauna degree basic hautapata kiti ya MCA ama MP. Na tuongee kuhusu hiyo kitu. Na 2022, na ukiangalia katika census ya 2019, Kenya tuko 47 million. Na watu ambao kuna degree Kenya ni 3.5% ya hiyo population. So unakuta majority of Kenyans don't have degree. Na sasa utakuta 2022 wenye ataenda katika election, wenye watarepresent sisi ni minority. So if you are defending democracy and yet you are allowing Section 22 to happen in 2022, what should we do about it? Because hataki kuruliwa na minority ambao kuna degree. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There was one more question behind there.
So hey everyone, Silantoi, hi. So mine is one, congratulations for the steps you've made and for the encouragement you've given most of us. But now our question is, where we are at, what role are we playing in rewriting our history? One, as young people, and second, as young women in a country where structures speak against us more than it works for us.
All right, asante sana. The last one here, as we go to the online one.
Asante. Mimi naitwa Keniga tena, na kwanza before nikupatia question Susan, ningependa kuaddress mzae kidogo ya kuwa unajua Nairobi is a city of large scale, na ina kuimanage inataka city kama hiyo ya Senate inataka provincial mindset. So tusiseme minority nini, kuna vitu lazima to understand. Kukuwa Senate si kazi rais hivyo venye mnaweza ichukulia, as in mtu yote anaweza ihandle, no. Lazima tukue serious hapa. So kukuwa Senate inamaanisha lazima uko na provincial mindset ndio uweze pia kuwakilisha Nairobi venye nafaa.
Okay.
Hiyo tuache. Now a question. Now to Susan. Sijui ni nini kwa upande yako yenye una feel tuna need most ya ndio democracy iweze kuwa successful, because naona umechukua line ya ulikuwa kwa social norms, sasa umechukua line ya political hiyo. So I don't know, maybe unijibu hiyo. Thanks.
Thank you very much. MC, do we have any questions online that Silantoi can speak to as she sums up and answers some of the questions?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Kwanza tupigie makofi kiongozi. Ni kiongozi bora, sio bora kiongozi. Tell your neighbor, kiongozi bora, sio bora kiongozi. I need some energy in the house. Kiongozi bora, sio bora kiongozi. I know I've managed to confuse you, but there's no problem. I'll elaborate. Congratulations, Mheshimiwa. Thank you for carrying the energy and being sustainable in what you do. Someone is asking here, bado utakuwa kwa race? Ama ndio umechukua zile obstacles, challenges, ukaamua umeacha sasa? Umeamua kufanyia kazi party? That's a question that you'll have to engage. Please note it down. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, we are live. The official Facebook page for MCIV. We're also live on Twitter, YouTube, hashtag defending democracy. Comrades power! Comrades power! I can see. Wala wameingia sasa hiyo kuna energy kweli kweli. Asanteni sana. Ladies and gentlemen, huko kumewaka moto online jameni, hapa ndani kuna fire energy. We have here comments, a couple of comments from strong leaders. Allow me read. Si maneno yangu ni maneno yao. Here we have a comment from Samuel Otieno. Samuel is saying, yes, I'm gonna urge Kenyan female young leaders just to develop courage and be confident enough to form political parties that will really enable them to fight for their rights in these political positions. Because, I repeat, because what a man can do, a woman does better. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Samuel, for that strong message. We have Lillian Award coming up strongly. She's saying, defending democracy, the buck stops at us. It's the high time we focus. Let's mobilize our fellow youths and say no to all these inequalities. We have the power, we have the numbers to defend democracy. Thank you, Lillian. We have Roman Kamau. Thank you, Roman Kamau. He's saying, Nicholas Songora, thank you for quoting me. Nicholas Songora, the energy and zeal we are getting from the estates to this space is amazing. Clap for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Hezbon, Baba Taifa Jeshi from Mukuru was very articulate and doing great work. See the energy from Madare Anthem Republic. The time is now. Power to the excelling states, defending democracy. Wow, wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is strong. Strength of a woman. From one and only program manager for MCIV, Madam Catherine Nekesa Hamali, she's saying, such an empowering story of courage and determination by Suzanne Silantoi, Mheshimiwa. You can achieve anything if you believe in it. She did not make it to the Senate, but she has definitely achieved milestones. She uses her voice to influence change, and that makes a difference. Kudos, Suzanne. Ladies and gentlemen, comments ni mingi sana, but because of time, I think I'll get back to you.
Yes, so I think the energy online matches the energy in the auditorium. People are celebrating you. People are thoroughly encouraged. And so as you sum it up, could you please address the questions and comments that we've received?
Check. Okay, there we go. So thanks again for the really nice comments. I'll address a few questions, and I'll start with the one from Rachel. Rachel, you asked about privilege and where I'm from and whether that played a part. No, it did not. And I grew up. I didn't grow up in the slums, or I didn't grow up in like the wealthy top, whatever. I'm just an average middle income family person. So it didn't actually play an advantage to me, because I felt out of place everywhere I went, and most people would actually not interact with me genuinely because they feel you're not from our hood, you don't know what we're going through, and therefore we're just not gonna vote for you. So I think that did not work in my advantage. And the other thing is, if I came from a really wealthy family, maybe it would have worked in my advantage because I'd probably have the resources that I would need to compete with everybody else. So I was just in the middle there. And so my privilege or lack thereof did not really play a big role in the campaign for me. You asked about, sorry, I didn't get your name, but you asked about whether there's young people who are capable of bringing about any sort of change in the country. And yes, there's lots of young people, even in this room, who have taken time from their day to get involved in things of the country. And those you people are the people we need to see taking up spaces of change in this country. I know a lot of our politics has often been the challenge has often been how monetized it has been. It's about the money, it's about who's wealthy. And so people who are getting wealth even through illegal ways are the ones who are getting involved in our politics more. But money is not the end of it. It's not the beginning and the end of politics. And if we get a critical mass of people who are willing to do politics in the right way, then we will probably get a solution to this. And that's why forums like this are really important, to have like-minded people engage in ways that, we can beat the wash, we can beat the ungodly money that is in our country. So yes, it's possible. We just need to find a critical mass for it. About the degree question, I know it's very difficult because on one hand, it excludes a large percentage of our population. On the other hand, there's been a lot of people who've been crying for qualifications. I've had people talk about if you want to be a doctor, you have to go to med school for 6 years. If you want to be a lawyer, you have to go to law school. So can't we have something similar for our political system? I'm not saying that requiring a degree is the only solution to it. But I guess this is a point where we can have more conversations about what does a qualification of a representative or of a governor, of a president look like. So I think it's a good place to be at, to have that conversation so that we see what is the solution. Because kusema kweli, si kwa na watu wagani like in parliament, or how many times do we see our MCAs wakichapana na maviti? Is that what we always want? Probably not. So how do we go about this discussion? And I think the degree question is just to start us off. It might not be the right solution, but at least it's an entry point to this. So I'm not saying it's good or bad. All I'm saying is, I guess this is a point to have this conversation a little bit more. Shiko, you asked about what our role is now. And during the presentation, I talked about you can either join a party, or you can vie, or you can support a candidate. But I think the critical role that we need to play as young people is to inform ourselves. Like, people don't watch the news and pretend it's cool. We pretend it's cool to I don't know, Miss Jangi anything about this country, say whatever. That's not cool. That's our role. We are supposed to know what is happening in our country if we want to do something about it. So simple steps: watch the news, find out what is your MP doing, who is your MP, who is your MCA, mnajua hata. Find out who those people are, what are they doing, what have they been doing. Is there CDF in your constituency? What has that CDF been doing? That's the role that we need to play as young people now. Finding out, being informed, and once we're informed, then we can be able to understand how best to bring about change in the country. And I think democracy, there's a lot of problems with democracy. But I think democracy helps us in a way, in a small way, to just have our views represented. So there's a lot of challenges with democracy worldwide, even democracy as a concept. But I think for now, we need to tap into using democracy to be able to achieve what we want. So if we're going to, we have to register as voters, we have to participate in elections. That's the only way democracy will be able to work for us. Will I vie again? Yes, absolutely. Just not in the next election, because I would like to further my education. But in 2027, I'll be back and I'll vie for governor for Nairobi.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. More power to you. More power to you. All right. Awesome. I mean, this has been awesome. You've really inspired us. You've really encouraged us, and I hope you will interact with us even as we're having lunch. But it's really been great, and we celebrate you for what you're doing. Keep doing you. Asante sana.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me, guys.
All right. MC, who is the artist who's gonna invite our next panelist?
All right, thank you so much. Asante sana. Our artist who umeshamuinvite ukamtaji wa jukwaa. I think we should bring this gentleman again back on stage. He breathed fire. Breathed fire. The Republic guy.
Anthem Republic. There's a demand for you. The MC says.
You should come back on stage. Ile ilikuwa si party yako ya kupiga show.
Yes.
Ile ulikuwa umedandia tu. Ulikuwa umedandia. This is your time now.
Yes, and as Anthem comes,
Ama peace zimeisha.
I will also ask Juliana to come and join me on stage.
Yes, Juliana. A round of applause. Strength of a woman. Pigieni makofi tafadhali. Two great people coming on stage now. Ladies and gentlemen, reminding you that we are celebrating Democracy Week. Hashtag defending democracy. Defending democracy. Of course, we are on Twitter live, you're on Facebook live. And I can see here, live on Facebook, the finest DJ from Coast Region, VJ Konde, is also following live. Thank you so much for following. Asante sana. Republic. Hey brother.
Hey.
Walai, tutakuwa na mazungumzo.
Okay.
Baadaye. Wakimaliza mambo yao utakuwa na mazungumzo na wewe.
Okay.
Republic mwenyewe. Pigeni makofi tafadhali. Take the stage. Take it away, brother.
Okay.
Take it away.
Asante kwa sana. So na feel tunaweza break monotony kidogo, si ndio? Ni kanathia. Yes, I. Sema star. Kweli. Sema star.
Star.
Sema star.
Star.
Mimi nataka kuambia wewe ni star. Na lazima ungae kwa ile kitu yote unadu, lazima ungae. Unajua kuzuia mtu mwenye anajituma nikaa kufungia moshi kwa nyumba. Lazima itapenya kweli. So wewe ni star. Sema star. Sema star. Mimi ni star, wewe ni star, mimi ni star. Hata cast yenye unajua hainaga shape ka yangu, jua mimi ni star, mimi ni star, wewe ni star, mimi ni star. Hata cast yenye unajua hainaga shape ka yangu, jua mimi ni star. Nakumbuka vizuri hiyo day. Hiyo day haikuwa day ya sports, but idea ilinikamia tu kimchezo na sikuwa na budi kujoin kwa game. Nilijipata nimeipenda hadi kulikuwa vile nilikuwa napenda dem yangu. Na ilifika point hadi akanitoka. Alichoka kujiframe na singemblame, na singejiblame. Nilijijazia labda tulikuwa na different aims na yangu ilikuwa deep within me na hata ningekuwa kipara aje haingenipea peace bila mi kuipractice. And so kalamu kwa mkono, kitabu kwa meza, na after kalamu na kitabu zimemeet, Anthem ndio ule mtoto alizaliwa. Niliintroduce Anthem kwa mabeste, wengi waka like, wengine waka dislike, like Anthem huwezi panga punchline, not knowing walikuwa right juu mimi siwezi panga line ya punch. Nitapangaje line ya punch na mimi mwenyewe ni punchline na hawezi ni punch. Nina line more than punch hadi nakopesha Kibera line 7. Mimi ni ile kitu inafanyanga Chris anasema baba, hata wasapere wanajua Anthem nejaba. Mimi ni star, wewe ni star, mimi ni star. Hata cast yenye wanajua inaga shape ka yako, waambie wewe ni star.
Our star tumeti. Another round of applause for Anthem. I know some of us are looking worried about time, but tulianza late kidogo, so we're gonna spend a few minutes just to hear one other powerful story. Juliana ni demwamta, tumepatana shimo za mita, so I'm actually going to let her tell her story and why she does what she does in her community in trying to pursue social change. Take it away.
Thank you very much.
Mike. Could we fix her mic? Ama hata wakizima tutaongea tu.
Check. 1, 2.
Okay. Mic check. Okay. Tusambaze corona hivyo. Washa.
COVID is real.
Okay.
Mic check. Awesome. Niaje wase. So manze, kwanza wale watu wameorganize event, March Salute. Hizi ndio vitu tulikuwa tuna need mtaani, si ndio? Hizi ndio vitu tunaomba zinaweza fanywa more and more. Kwa hivyo to the organizers, manze, sponsors wa hii kitu, we bless you. Kwa majina ni Juliana Oyalo. I am a youth mentor. I am a counselor by passion and profession. Na pia kuna shughuli niko nayo, nilikuwa privileged tukiwa tumetoka tu chuo. I was so privileged kujiingiza kwa stories za leadership through support ya capacity building. Nikakuwa delegate wa the National Youth Council. Na naweza waambia, I can say one thing for a fact. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. Every time I walk or look around me, I see leaders that we were once in those streets that you're in right now. Manze ijakuwa rahisi. Tumepiga masama mingi sana huko kwa street mse kupigania voice ya hii kitu mnaona inaitwa democracy. And for those people that you are even seeing in parliament, we are one of the few people that even fought for this space mnasikia zinapigwa kama ni youth rights. Hizo vitu hazikuwa tulipigania during chance tuliget kupigania kwa hizo space. A bit worried by the crop of youths that we are having right now. We have youths that are different from our time. Different in a sense that we want to spend money we have not made yet. So like every time you decide to do that, definitely you'll do a shortcut, right? Because if we have a youth that is 20 years old, a youth that is 16 years old, na anataka kupiga sherehe, anataka madem, anataka nini, hizo vitu zinakam na logistics, sindio? So that is why we are having issues in regards to crime. And where there is crime, kuna hiyo issue ya vijana kuangushwa. And where there is vijana kuangushwa, kuna mahali visions inakuwa buried 6 feet under. So all I can tell you guys is my journey has not been easy. Si tumezaliwa mtaani K-South. Tumezaliwa K-South in Nairobi. Alafu baadaye shughuli tukaanza kupiga. I was able to do a lot of networks and partnerships, and that's how I started finding myself a lot in Busia to try and support my own space. If we can do that as a society, Kenya will be a better place. Democracy is not a word. Democracy is not what you see behind us. Democracy must be taken into implementation. Mnaweza kaa hapa, we can sit here up to tomorrow we can sit here for a month, but if we do not take the power of making democracy a reality, we are going to lose so much. How we started is simple. Learn to volunteer. As we've really volunteered, I normally see people on my social media handles telling me, Juliana, I would love to be you. And I look at them and I'm like, if you really want to be me, you need to start walking the journey. We started with volunteering. We used to be called by people that were ahead of us. And you find tulikuwa tunakaa base, mimi nilikuwa ka tomboy. So tulikuwa tunakaa base na maboy. Ndawambia mali ilinifikisha hiyo kitu manzeli nileteaga kismat. So when I was sitting with the boys, we used to be called, like, niaje majama, there's something happening at this particular space you're seeing here. There's something happening in parliament. There's something happening blah, blah, blah. And one thing that happened is I never had the question of asking, what am I getting after attending? I never used to do that. I used to volunteer a lot, and much later, it is a lady that told me, these trainings that you're going for right now is what is going to build your future. So me, that's what I took in. So I started attending those very informed spaces. I got into parliament at a very tender age. I managed to go and set up bills and policies. And one thing that I came to learn is through volunteering, I got my blessing. I got very many opportunities through that, and that is how I was able to be elected, not as a gender role, but elected to be a Nairobi National Youth Council delegate. And that is where that journey of volunteering got me. So it started by those pedestals. So like I started from here, nimeka kwa mawe, nikaamua niaje acha niondoke hii mawe. Then I moved a step further again and again. And much later, the National Youth Council was a blessing. Because through the National Youth Council, we were able to get more capacity building. Once we got capacity building, we were able to call now into big spaces. Let me tell you guys, as much as youths are asking for spaces, you cannot be invited to a space where somebody feels you will not perform. So by the time we were making noise, at the same time, we were really serious about what we really wanted for our country. And that is how I managed to have a few projects that I've done. I have been so humbled by how Mother Nature has blessed my life. I do free online counseling because I came and realized what we need a stable country. And mavijana, you find like in our country, youths are undergoing so much pressure. So according to me, what I did, mimi nimeraiziwa na boy child. I am, even as I stand here today, through the council, the other delegates in my estate, at home, my partner, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I'm a success story of a boy child support system. And one thing I came to realize is gender is not a competition. Why are we fighting? I normally respect feminism, but I respect positive feminism. Simply because I'm a parent. We are parents. You get, tuko na watoi maboy. Whereas, tukianza kufight, when you're fighting a girl child, you are fighting your own child who might have power to become an MCA but cannot because now you're blocking it. A policy might want to be done but you're blocking it, not knowing maybe you born a leader. So like unaweza dhani ni sisi unachapa but unachapa watoi wako, sawa? Then when it comes to the other hand, as a boy child defender, because that's who I am proudly, what I normally say is we need each other. There is no way another gender can survive without the other. What I say is we need sons that are strong. Utachapa boy child, kesho mtoi wako atakatiwa na nani mse? So like, kama ni huyo boy child, if you feel unataka kumeka kuwe weak, your daughter will have a weak husband. So like in every space we get, let us not fight gender, let us hold each other to hold our country to an area where we are both winning. Because again, if we are in a country where it's only the girl that is winning at a pivot, it's a mess. If we are in a country where the boy child is winning at a pivot point, it will be a mess. So every time I sit and do my counseling sessions, I get almost, I think in a week I get about 40 boy child or boy children. Why do we get that? Because a boy child somewhere is a brother, a boy child somewhere is a husband, a boy child somewhere is a boss, and all that, you know, etc. So, like, every time I speak to them, I get to know. As Juliana Oyalo, I came to learn gender is never a competition. It is a blessing that God gave us. If you happen to get a girl born today in your homestead, you ensure that you raise them as per the standards. Mi usema maboy ni kismat kwangu juu, mi kutoka nilianza kuvaa hizi positions. Mavijana walikuwa wananiambia niaje, Julie unasimama lini? Hii. Me, I don't even know. I woke up and found my posters on the wall. It is a boy who did it. Every time I'm walking, surprisingly my PA is male. See them. Ni mjamaa, cause na feel as much as atutaki maboy, but kuna mahali mi ingia hivi najipata, we all need support. Kuna machoche siezi ingia alone, si ndio? Lazima tukue na hiyo protection. So kuna maboy wapoa that wanatupatia all that in leadership. Mi nimekuwa baraka na nimebarikiwa kwa boy child. That's why I decided to give back, and I gave back through an online forum, and I'm sure you'll see it and we'll network more. It's called Open Talk with Juliana. Why I chose Open Talk is because I came to realize we cannot talk about problems without being the solution. So I was like, niaje kila siku tunaenda kwa ma TV kuomba 15 minutes. Mimi nikasema hapana. What can we do for youth? Let us create spaces that we can bring our youth to voice their issues as much as we want to understand them. What we lack as a country in all generations, we lack chances, opportunities. What wanna feel young people are a competition, so they want to suppress us. All in all I'm saying is, you can't have your cake and eat it. As youth, you cannot say that we want a better society. We want a better government. I have seen politics is around the corner, right? Ni nani bado tumeona anaanza kuchochwa? It is the same youth. So democracy is not the problem. The government is not the problem. The problem is us letting the government and democracy play us around. We need to stand up and realize that if we need to win, we need to start a journey. One thing I can tell you today, you might be about 200 people here and others online listening. There is no testimony where there is no test. There is no testimony where there is no test. Anytime I see a young person shot, dead, I get worried because I believe where there is a boy child, there is a generation. So like kila time nikiona boy amelala chini, ameuliwa, I get so pained. Me kuna time hata, I find myself crying a lot because najiambia, that is someone who had a vision. So why are we having our visions dying on a daily basis? And as youth, you feel it's not a problem. Right now, youth voice zao ziko chini. Voice ziko chini, and you'll continue being suppressed because voice ile umenyamaza nayo, voice ile una feel uende ujifiche nayo base. Guys, there's a time for everything.
Okay.
There's a time for everything. So all I can say is, as a country that is fighting for democracy rights, let us not fight by words, but by actions. So thank you so much, guys, and God bless you. And it's an honor being here in front of you today. Asante.
All right, asante sana Juliani. And you see, these conversations are very important because we cannot have a conversation about defending democracy. We cannot have a conversation about democracy if we do not talk about the people who actually push these wheels to promote and enhance democracy. So that is why these sessions are very important, because democracy will only make sense if we see the faces behind, the force that pushes for democracy in our spaces. So asante sana for that session. Boy child defender, nimesikia boy child wamepiga makofi mingi sana hapa leo. Nilikuwa naona tu maswali za kwanza zitatoka kwa Mwikali, but nimeona ni kama ametoka. But we are really out of time. Sasa tumemaliza time yetu. So I am going to encourage that we also have interactive sessions with Juliana as we have our lunch. But kama kuna swali moja ambayo unafikiria huwezi kaa nayo, I am going to give you just one. Awesome. Sisi wote tumesema tunaenda lunch. Where's one? Okay. The one with Marvin there. Araka, swali inaisha tukienda lunch, si ndio? Oh, okay. Hauna sauti hiyo design?
Niko nayo.
Aya, hebu.
Juliana. Nilikuwa nakuulizaje? Ni poa sana kwanza, first of all, ni poa sana unatetea boy child. Tumeshukuru sana sisi kama boy child. Na ni challenge gani unapitia moso wewe kama a lady enye una support boy child na Kenya na do? Na it's very rare but si rare but kuna venye wase uchukulia uni mdem ana support boy child jo
Sawa, tumeget your point. Ni challenge unaitisha. So Juliana najua unapenda kuongea sana, but I am going to give you like 1 minute. Answer his question. What challenges as a boy child defender, and also your parting shot. Just 1 minute.
All right. So challenge mob zile the one I think. Okay, so challenge mob kwanza thanks. Challenge mob si upitia ni anytime una get dem ana try kubonga for boy child, unaonekana gani ka we ni enemy, like wase u feel ni kama we unakuwa obstacle, but mimi nilikam tu ku understand budangu ndio amenimenta na ndio aliniingizaga kwa leadership. So nimewambia mi blessing yangu imekam through machali, so mi waamua tu ku give back. So hata hizo challenge zikikam, hakuna siku vitu zitakuwa easy forever. So as a counselor inanisaidiaga pia, cause mi ujua ku leverage. Najua ile nikiona msee anakam najua ni mblaina, najua vile ndamtoka, unajua. So mi ujua tu kucheza na rada na imekuwa inani bless. Alafu pia juu ya kukaa na maboy nimekuwa gaturo juu, so ainaga ngori sana.
Awesome. Asante sana. Juliana amesema yeye anajua kutambua mamlaina. So kawe ni mlaina hapa hivi, Juliana ako rada yako sana. Guys, I see your hands, but we really have to sum up. Tuendeni tukamhande huko hivyo nje. Let's have those interactive sessions. Kwa sababu tunajua pia tuko na session ya after. We really have to go to the next session. Okay, point of information Mekali. Tukiendaga. And as I also give back the floor to the
Comrades
MC.
Power.
Yes,
Juliana Power. I think for me, the reason why I said point of information is information even for all of us who are in this room, that the way we perceive feminism, it's the same the way people say activist in a noisemaker, you see. And I think it's really important, all of us, whether you're boy child or girl child or democracy, everything, to understand that the reason feminism is into life is because we are fighting even for that democracy. We are fighting and calling out oppressive men. Oppressive men, not, kama we ni mpoa ambao to call out, you see. And that's why it's usually bad when you drive this narrative that there's negative feminism and positive feminism. You have to be very careful, especially also as leaders and as influencers. And secondly is that whether you're a man or a woman or let's say an LGBTQ person, if you're a violent man or a violent woman or a violent gender non-conforming person, we can't excuse that. So that's why I felt it's really important just to step in and understand that we need to understand that and difference. And then understand that one, also women, not all women are pro-women, not meaning that women are their enemies. Women are not their enemies. And also they are patriarchy princess that will push patriarchy agenda, either one, because they benefit for that patriarchy, or because they benefit on a systematic structure that oppresses also women. Because mimi niko sure hata nikiambia machali hapa na defend, hata wale watiaji watasema Rachel power. And you have seen it even, true or false?
Okay.
True or false? We have seen it. So it's really, we have to be very careful also as women, the agenda sometimes we drive. And I agree with Juliani, gender justice is not a war for women. That's why gender agenda should not be burdened to women. If you are a man, your friend is violent, you need to call them out. The way even us women, we call people who are violent out, or also women who are violent in any form of violence. Thank you.
Sawa sawa.
Maybe-
Asante sana. And just to echo what Mwikali is saying, we should all remember that patriarchy is a system. Patriarchy is a boy child. You know, let us all remember that.
So kile naweza sema ni, I think nimekuwa kwa story activism for the last 8 years, na tumekuwa tukifight for different spaces. When I speak of negative feminism, I'm speaking of feminism that will end up hurting another feeling to protect another. Wacheni feelings zikwe zimewekwa level moja juu hata huyo boy akona heart.
Alright.
Get. So just like in politics, where there is a positive, there is a negative. Where there is a negative, there is a positive. But si ati tuna support zile democracy rights zinakuwa suppressed. Shukran.
Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. You have been an awesome crowd for this session, and we've really enjoyed. Back to you, MC.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let us appreciate the ladies. Thank you, Juliana. Asante sana. Someone has just told me here I should give you a high five, but because of COVID, I'll give you an elbow. Elbow, thank you. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our super moderator. This is powerful. Kuanzia saa ngapi asubuhi mama? Hey, Noma. Pigeni makofi sana and the amazing work she's doing, the social justice. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to just read few of the comments online. Very powerful. There is a man known as Lieutenant G.M. Mose saying Juliana Oyalo is an example of what we need and have to be. Hashtag gender is not a competition. Wow. Mercy Odondo saying point hapo. Lieutenant G.M. Mose comes back again saying feminists are now making it to be as if it's a competition against men. And he poses a question. Why don't we agitate for change as one, regardless of who is in leadership? Very wise words. Habib Omar is saying very insightful and impactful. Thanks, Juliana Oyalo. Wow, this is strong. So many other comments. Another one is saying here, Gachana, I think this is my best piece ever. I love it. Thank you so much. And this is Karembo's comment. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much, our panelists and our hosts. Asanteni sana. As you're taking your leave, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a special announcement. One is we are marking Democracy Week. Two, our hashtag is defending democracy. And 3, please mind social distancing when you're coming in the afternoon here. I can see our brother hata wengine wamelaliana. Mapenzi ya wapwani jamani na watu wa Nairobi ni noma. Not friendly for COVID-19. Umelalia paka mwenzako hivi yani, haujali. That is normal. Please, when you're coming back in the afternoon, ensure there is a seat in between you. And I feel, you know, as Kenyans, we are very ignorant. Hata kuna vitu upande huu, kidogo huku nitawasamea. Lakini upande huu wa kushoto, naona kuna disclaimer katikati ya kila kiti pale imeandikwa, don't sit here. But you still sit. That demonstrates how we have knowledge but don't want to apply. Sindio? Ignorance. Activists. Comrades power. Comrades power. Viva with democracy, viva. Viva with social justice, viva. Viva with feminism, viva. Asanteni, kwa nafikira mtaongea hapo. Sasa, there's a special announcement. We are going for a breaking for lunch, ladies and gentlemen. And for those moving